Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, everywhere, all over the place, all over this great big flat baseball diamond we call Earth, underneath the authority of the Houston Astros. That's right. Space only exists so much as the Astros are allowing us to have it. If Houston allows us to go, we can go. And as far as we can go, it is only allowed by Houston, yo. Yeah, Casey, good to see you. John, good to see you too. TGIF, well, here it's TGIS. It is Saturday, my friend, in Japan. But TGIF to you. Thank goodness it's Friday, or thank God it's Friday. I hope you all have a fantastic Friday. I hope we have a fantastic Friday game. I just learned that this pitcher for the Angels hasn't won a game since April. Isn't that crazy? This guy, his last win was before Jordan went out with an injury. It just makes me wonder if that's the case, how is he going to perform against the Astros today? Some people would say it would worry them. They would say, well, if he hasn't won since then he will definitely win against the Astros today. Maternity? It means he is due. I gotcha. I was trying to figure out why not use the word paternity. But if you're saying that he's due, then yes. Okay, I gotcha. That makes more sense. I mean, men don't actually have babies. They don't get pregnant and have babies, contrary to what some weirdos try to make us believe, right? Goodness. Oh, look at me. I'm about to pour hot water into my coffee filter, and I don't even have any coffee in there yet. What am I doing? What am I thinking about? Christian Javier is back on the mound today for the Astros. I have been waiting for him to have his first outstanding game versus an opponent. It hasn't happened yet, but I can feel it in me bones. Just like when the thunderstorms, before they roll in, me bones start to ache. Can't quite get comfortable. I know something's amiss, something's not right. Something is dislocated in the world. Because me bones, they tell me they does. Hopefully today's the day for Christian Javier. This is the perfect series for some Astros pitchers to get some crap worked out, you know? You could call this a warm-up series for some better teams. The Angels, regardless of what a person might think, are not a terrible team, but they're neither a great team. But they are one of those teams that you can't just brush aside and say, we got this. Well, you see what happens whenever the Astros play like that, with that type of attitude, right? We got this. And then they get destroyed. AKA A's series at home in Dyking Park. Just as an example. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Michael Fontenot, he says he had leave because of a baby? That's a long leave because of a baby. But But when a man takes leave, that's paternity. And that's the paternity is the father, maternity is the mother. But I see what you're saying. But that's a long time to be gone, isn't it? How could he be gone for so long? Unless that's just what he wanted to do. Gregory says 14-4. Astros. I'll go with that. Angel Phrase, man of culture, welcome in. Good to see you again. Did you bring the hot tea? The Earl Grey? I brought the appropriate crumpets. I hope you brought the appropriate tea. Let's see how this one goes indeed. What's everyone sipping tonight? Well, this morning, actually, let me show you this. This is a vitamin C drink that I had. I got it from 7-Eleven. I don't know if you guys and gals can get this in America at 7-Eleven, but it's a no-sugar vitamin C plus vitamin A drink from 7-Eleven. They've got like 4 different types of drink. One of those has like electrolytes. One of those has fiber. One of those has some kind of like yogurt style stuff, bacteria that's good for your stomach. And this one has vitamin C and A and some other vitamins. But all of them have one thing in common. That is 0 sugar. So I like those drinks. I picked those up. I had one of those this morning. And right now I'm pouring myself some coffee. What are you sipping, Casey? Christian Walker getting warmed up out on the field. Eight home runs in August. 5 of those in a week. That's the definition of a hot bat right there, a hot thump. Bambi says, wow, that's a hot thump. A hot thumper. All right. Brendan, hello, good to see you. Fox at Bat, welcome in. Good day to you. I'm ready for another Astros win as well. Casey is having Red Stag and Cherry Coke. Yeah, the lineup today, actually we can go over that right quick. Jeremy Pena is leading it off at shortstop. Second in the lineup today is Yordan Alvarez. They put him in the second slot again at the DH. He's not in the field today. Batting third is Altuve playing second base. Yes! And then Carlos Correa clean up at third base. Christian Walker batting fifth in the catching spot. I just said Walker's catching because it says Walker, comma C. I'm just looking too hard at the abbreviations. It says Walker C 1B. And I looked at it and I said Walker's catching. Can you imagine Christian Walker catching? Maybe he could do it. Who knows? He's pretty good at catching the ball. He'll be at first base, obviously. Batting sixth is Sanchez. Jesus Sanchez in left field. Now check this out, guys. Diaz is batting seventh and he's catching. He's back in the game today. But yes, Espada listened to us again. He separated Walker and Diaz with Sanchez in the middle. Perfect. Perfect. Batting eighth is Cam Smith in right field. And Mauricio Dubon wrapping it all up, batting ninth in center field. Absolutely. Speaking of Altuve, my hero, I've got the Altuve orange right behind me there. The only reason I'm not wearing my Altuve jersey today is because I want to wash it. I don't want to wear it too much and wear it out, you know what I'm saying? Javier taking some warm-up tosses right now. I love the Astros orange. And I love seeing Altuve at second base. It feels good. Pena, Jeremy Pena, Yordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa in the first four slots. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Doesn't it sound like a World Series lineup? It does to me. But now that Christian Walker is hitting pretty hard, Christian Walker, Jesus Sanchez, who's been coming on recently, Yainer Diaz, he's back from getting his hand smacked. I think he took some time off because of that. Cam Smith is hitting the ball now. Mauricio Dubon is he just had some nice hits also recently. I think everybody's starting to come around. They're waking up. It's going to be that time of the year, and the Astros are getting serious. Javier is on the mound facing Zach Neto. That's ripped really hard. The very first pitch into the left field side. Foul ball. Strike one. Absolutely, John. Can you imagine that? Myers coming back in the lineup. That's going to be awesome. He's going to be back soon. Knuckle curve goes up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Neto takes that one a little high. Check swing, and they say he didn't go. He didn't go. And my coffee's ready right on time. Here comes the pitch. By the way, they got him that time. Check swing. He went around. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Angels have a ton of home runs, just so you know. Yeah, Chris, you said the Angels are last place in their division. Well, that's our division. They're last place in our division. We're at the top, they're at the bottom. But I'm telling you, they can beat anybody on any given day, so we have to play them seriously. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That fastball was outside. Greetings to you, Michael. I agree with you all, though. We do have the ability to sweep, and we need to sweep. And we want the sweep. Whether we get it or not, we'll see. 93 mile per hour, low below the zone. So he had a 2-2 count through 2 more balls and walked him. We have runner on first in the first inning with no outs. Gregory says Walker's my favorite player now, like Bagwell and Davis. My favorite baseball position has always been first base. I have too much love for second base. Of course, Glenn Davis was my first favorite player when I was a kid. The first one who made a big impression on me. Of course, they had other players that were awesome they were legends, but 78 miles an hour out on the outside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Swiffer. Mike Trout at the plate. Let's see if Javier can go fishing and catch him a nice trout. Looks like Trout's lost a little bit of weight. Here comes the pitch. 94 at the top of the zone. Strike 2, 1-2 against the Fish. Beautiful. Patrick, I'm doing all right. How are you doing, sir? Big Patrick. That would be nice, Angel. That would be nice. High and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fastball missing. Angel says hopefully Javier doesn't get sick after 3 innings. So if Javier doesn't get sick and he's able to pitch multiple innings without giving up runs, that'd be nice. Let's see it. Hey, he couldn't hold up on that high fastball. Javier gone fishing. Catches himself a trout with his first K of the game and first out. He couldn't hold up. Couldn't resist. He's like, darn it. Barnacles! Nito is on first base. Umpire holds up for a second. Something going on? Espada comes out. Espada out griping about something. Oh, I see. They called a disengagement on Christian Javier. I guess Espada was complaining about that. I don't know what was going on. Here's the pitch. This is hit high in the air to center field. Should be easily played by Dubon. He puts it away. Sanchez was right behind him to back him up, but it was unnecessary. 2 down. Nito camps out on first base. And by the way, Patrick, I am doing pretty good today. I think I slept pretty well. But they said that the temperature is going to go up again today. It's going to be really hot, in the 90s. I don't know how hot it is in Fahrenheit. Let's see. Whoops, no. 35. I don't know why I typed in that. 95 degrees is what it's supposed to be. Taylor Ward at the plate. First pitch is low and inside there in the dirt. Good catch by Diaz. Ball 1. Yeah, that's what I tell people here. They're like, can you tolerate the heat in Japan? It's terrible, isn't it? And that's one thing you'll always hear. You'll always hear in Japan, constantly, over and over again. 93, right in the lower inside part of the zone. 93, fastball. 1-1. They'll say, Atsui desu ne. Atsui desu ne. Atsui means hot. And desu ne, it's like saying, isn't it? It's hot, isn't it? Isn't it hot? Isn't it hot? Here comes a 1-1 pitch to Moncada. This should be an easy play for Correa. He puts it away. Nice soft fly ball. I thought that was Ward at the plate, but the information on the screen didn't update. He was the last batter that flew out to Dubon. So 1 walk on the very first batter, but after that, 3 up and 3 down. A strikeout and a fly out, a pop out. No big deal. Good, solid first inning for Javier. Javier's pitches. 15 pitches, 8 strikes. Strikes could be a little higher. Pitch count is okay for now. It's okay for now. But anyway, it's so funny because when you start to travel around the world and you experience many different places and different people and different cultures, and it's not just Asian cultures or Middle Eastern cultures or cultures that are very different from what we call Western cultures. It's not just those. It's also people from Western culture countries. Sometimes they will say stuff and it just shows how ignorant a lot of people are about the way the world works. Because think about this. I'm going to toss this question out there, and I'm going to let you decide why this question is so silly. Okay? Sometimes people will ask me, is it hot in America? And I'm not talking about just Japanese. I'm talking about people from everywhere. Is it hot in America? Sometimes, is it cold in America? I always say to them the same thing immediately. Well, you know, America is a pretty big place. So you can't just answer that with a yes or no. It depends. In Houston and Louisiana and all that area down there, yes, it's ridiculous. The humidity is high, the heat is high, it's miserable weather. Why do people live there? Why do people live in Houston? Why do people live in New Orleans? Why do people live anywhere in that area? People are crazy, right? We live everywhere. I mean, we live where it's frozen. We live in the frozen wastes. We live underwater if we could. And some of us do, probably. 91 on the inside to Pena. He fouled the first pitch off, 1-1. But I will tell you this. As hot as it gets in Japan, it's only for a couple of months, and it's not as bad as Houston, that's for sure. Pena lines that one to the left side, but just foul. That was almost a double. But yeah, the humidity has gone up a lot, Brendan, by the way, here. 95 today with, that's not the field temperature, that's the basic temperature. 79 on the outside, fouled away. The count remains 1-2 to Pena. But the humidity is going to be very, very high, which it normally is pretty high. So there's a heat warning. But I remember it was like 106 the summer before I left in my hometown. Holy freaking cow, you know, with the humidity like 95, 96, 98%, something like that. People in Japan just have no idea. And it stays hot like 6 months. Hot and muggy. Houston is like that too. It stays hot and muggy for a very long time. For most of the year, it's just uncomfortable. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Pena goes up the middle, but that's going to be playable by the center fielder. The crowd got a little excited, but it was preemptive. Pena jogs to the dugout, and that's out number 1. Yordan Alvarez back up at the plate in just a moment, and they're showing some highlights of his first home run. No, that's multiple different highlights, not just one. Go STROS, shake indeed. Patrick, on the giveaway, give me 1 second. Here's the first pitch to Yordan. A little low and outside, ball 1. About the giveaway, I wanted to make sure that I had all the stuff ready, and now I do. But I have to decide how to do the giveaway, and I'm going to work on that today, and I'll announce it later. A little low and outside. Because the trick in doing the giveaway is making sure that only my subscribers are entered in the giveaway, and to make sure that I do it in a way that I can verify the winners after I choose the winners, but keeping everybody's information secure and private. So I'm looking up to see what is the best way to do that. Yordan takes a fastball, top of the zone for strike 1. 2-1 is the count. 88, whew, big swing there. That ball was on the inside. A cutter fouled away. 2-2 is the count. Yordan calls a timeout. Yeah, Salazar did have a little bit of a good outing with the Astros. This is hit hard, but he got it off the fists. Softest contact we've seen from Yordan so far. He flies out to center field. If he had hit that one off the barrel of the bat, it would have been dangerous. But that brings up Superman Jose Altuve. Those people over there with the Jose picture and sign, they must have season tickets every year. They're always in the same spot. There we go. Altuve with a single to left field. How about that? And that's why they should have Altuve batting second, not after Yordan. Put Altuve on. Very first pitch. 91 at the top of the zone, and he barrels it up, right up the middle. Nice solid line drive. And my hero is on first base. Altuve with the nice shaved face. looking like a baby. That brings up his compatriot, Carlos, South Korea. By the way, I have South Korea shirts now. And some other gear like cups and stickers and stuff. If you look in the, I believe below the video, there should be a link to my store. I now have a store. I only have 2 items, or rather 2 logos right now. Swing and a miss at the bottom of the zone, 1-1 to Korea. But I made a flag that resembles the South Korea flag, but has the Astros colors, and it says, "I love South Korea." If you guys are interested in having one of those shirts, you can buy it. I get like $7 whenever you buy a shirt. They also have cups. You can get a cup. That's ball 2 to Korea, 2-1. I only have 2 images right now. If you guys and gals have any requests for particular images that you'd like to see on a shirt or a cup, let me know and I'll work on it. Up and in. Like I said, it's just me doing all this, so it's a little busy for me to do all these things by myself. But I wanted to go ahead and add a store, a Geaux STROS store. 3 balls up and in to Korea. Walker on deck. Here comes the next pitch. No, he goes over to first base and Altuve's back, no problem. Yeah, Brendan, you're right. Lance McCullers is supposed to be transitioning to the bullpen. Woo! Change up at the bottom of the zone. Swing and a miss. Full count. Come on, Mr. Correa. Full count. Come on, Correa. Let's drive Altuve in the first inning. Establish an early lead. Here comes the full count pitch. That's hit pretty hard to left field, left center, all the way back. It's going to be in the park. Right before the wall. He gave it a ride. All the way to the warning track in left center, man. That was close. Correa almost getting a 2-run blast there. It was pretty deep, but not quite deep enough. Once again, horseshoes and hand grenades. How many times are we going to see something like that from the Astros this season? I feel like I've seen that 1,000 times. The Astros just a couple of feet away, just a couple of feet from getting a big hit and being robbed. It reminds me of their stat, you know, of getting guys on base and stranding them. So the Astros are actually in the top 5 batting averages in the MLB. And you'd think, well, if that's the case, they should be leading and scoring, but they're not. Why is that? Because almost all of their hits are just coming with nobody on base, nobody in scoring position. And then once they get in a scoring position, the hits suddenly drop. It's a terrible stat. But if they can turn that around, what an amazing thing to build on, right? Chris says, I'm going to get a squirt gun to stop the cat fighting at the end of my bed. Are they not getting along? Are they upset or just having too much fun? Yeah, Michael, you said few places, but I would say that basically from Florida all the way over through Texas, that's the worst area for climate in all of America, in all of North America. When you start getting into places like Arizona and stuff, yeah, it's hot, but that's a tricky kind of hot. You don't feel it, and you don't dehydrate as fast. I mean, your body can't cool down. You sweat like crazy, and you can't cool down properly when you're in a humid, hot area, and those are the just absolutely terrible climate, in my opinion. Swing and a miss. 94 in the top outside edge of the zone. Joe Adell is at the plate facing Javier. It's 0-0, but the Astros have 1 hit on the board. I think every summer is brutal in that area, to be honest. 94 up and out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, you're right, Abel. South Texas summers I don't see much of a difference. I don't have any differences of impression between being in Louisiana and being in that area in Houston. It's the same to me. It's hot, it's muggy, it's humid. Miserable is the word. 2 balls and 1 strike to Joe Adele. Here comes the next pitch. Ooh, that was generous. Below the zone, but called a strike. The umpire gives us one there. Look at that. Casey says, no different when my coworkers ask foreigners applying for jobs, do they have buildings? Yeah. Oh my gosh, Casey. Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. That's why I said it's not just like what we would call foreigners, right? It's not just Asians or Middle Easterners. It's also Westerners. And of course, Americans do that too. Now, the reason I don't hear Americans saying that here is because they're from America and they don't ask questions about America. Now, there are times where people who've never been to Texas or Louisiana, maybe they haven't spent any substantial time down there, any at all. Maybe they don't think about how hot and muggy it is. Fouled back. Count remains 2-2 to Adele. Nobody on, no outs. But yes, a friend of mine from Canada, when I first went to China, he said, so what do you do about clothes? And I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, how do you get your clothes? I mean, do you have to make them yourself, or do you get somebody to make them for you? And I was like, bro, what are you talking about? Oh, this is crushed. Wow, look at that. Barely foul. All the way up to the train tracks, Joe Adele crushed that ball. Look at this. The sweeper stayed in the top of the zone, and he got around on it. Look at that. Boom. Up in the upper deck, but foul. Woo-wee. 86 inside, full count. Dodged a bullet there, but now we got the full count. Come on, Javi. Here comes the 3-2. High in the zone, fouled back. Towering foul ball off on the right side. Sarcastic prodigy wants to know why the Japanese live where Godzilla attacks them. That's a good question. That's why I moved away from Tokyo. I just got tired of the nonstop carnage. Here comes the 3-2. Swing and a miss. He gets the strikeout. Man, Javier got lucky there. Javier dodged 2 bullets, I think. The first one was that almost towering home run. And the second was actually getting the strikeout, getting the out. Adele goes down. And I'm not talking about the singer. Logan O'Hoppy's at the plate. First pitch is hit right in the air. Altuve's underneath it. Pena Pena pretends to catch it. Astros commentator says Pena pretends to do an Altuve. It's funny how the other Astros are starting to mimic the fake Altuve catch. 2 down. Christian Moore at the plate. First pitch, up and in. Swing and a miss. 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Hey, Daryl, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Oh, man, that sucks. Refineries spewing out fumes on Sundays. That's terrible. It's bad enough that they do it at all, but on Sundays, come on. The breeze, everybody's off. Let's go downtown. Foul ball. 0-2 is the count. 1 strike away from ending this inning. Javier might have himself a nice couple of innings. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Way high. That is called a ball. 1-2. Casey asks, how did Mickey Mantle get a disease named after him? Is this supposed to be the start of a joke? It sounds like the start of a joke. Here comes the next pitch, the 1-2 in the dirt, 2-2. Angel says, I stepped outside. It's 87. I thought it was autumn. Well, I am lucky. I am lucky that I'm located where I'm at, because if I were in the city right now, it'd be even worse. It'd be 3 degrees hotter, I think. 3 or 4 degrees hotter. Swing and a miss. Javier with a high fastball well above the zone. Moore went after it, but he couldn't get it anymore. He could only get the air. Hey, look at that. Super chat from Prodigy. Sarcastic Prodigy dropping me at $5. Thank you so much, sir. I'm going to say thank you, Sarcastic Prodigy. And that's not sarcasm. That's just love, baby. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And by the way, I don't know how many members we have right now. I think one new member. One new member joined. Jennifer Rodriguez. If you're listening right now, thank you so much for joining. And if I'm not mistaken, that means that we are two members away from having the new emoji, getting the new emoji. And the new emoji, I believe, is going to be Yordan Alvarez. We have to have a Yordan Alvarez emoji, right? We have to. We have to. We have no choice. We just have to. Let's take a look and see how many members we have right now on Astros. Memberships. How many members? Well, right now it says 27 members, but we just got a new one. So I believe that's 28, if I'm not mistaken. That's right. We have 28 now. It didn't update. Jennifer Rodriguez is our 28th member. 2 more, and we can have a Yordan Alvarez emoji. If you're kind of wondering, what is membership? It's when you join at tier number 1, tier number 2, or tier number 3 on my channel. And you pay a small monthly fee, a little subscription fee. Christian Walker at the plate takes that first pitch outside for ball 1. Tier 1 is super cheap. I think it's less than $2. Super cheap. Swing and a miss, the 78-mile-per-hour changeup. 1-1 to Christian Walker. Tyler Anderson on the mound. But if you want to support the channel, and you haven't done so already, if you join as a member, I just need 2 more members. Sky Walker hits that one into the sky on the infield. First baseman is underneath it, and he's got it for out number 1. Walker flies out to the dad bod first baseman. Jesus Sanchez comes to the plate. So Skywalker goes down, and that leads to Mr. Jesus. Yordan has not struck out yet, Brendan. That's a good question, but he has not. 90 miles an hour at the top of the zone. He has grounded out, he's flown out, he's been walked, he's hit a homer, and that's it. No strikeouts yet. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. 90, low and outside. This is a good start for Sanchez against a lefty. Man, Ken, that's awesome. 96 to 97 season tickets, 2 rows from the rail. Hey, this is hit hard to center field, all the way out to the wall. It's off the base of the wall. Sanchez is headed to second. Easily gets into second base with a double off the base of the wall in center field. He crushed that ball, man. They weren't expecting that. They were not expecting that. No one expects the Inquisition or Jesus Sanchez. Right off the bottom of the wall there. Yeah, keep it going, baby. We got us a runner in scoring position. That's the Astros' second hit of the game, first extra base hit. Yainer Diaz, first bat back. Welcome back, Yainer. Give him a shiner. 78-mile-per-hour changeup just above the zone. The umpire liked it. Strike one. Travis says, I can't speak for other countries, but in America we tend to stay in the area we're born. Yeah, well, it also depends on where you're from in America. You're right. You're right, but there's a little star on that. In the dirt, 1-1 to Yainer. Travis, I saw some really interesting articles a while back, and they talked about how much you travel in the world and whether or not you have a passport and how much you travel in America. It changes depending on where you're born and raised. Some people travel more than others. High and outside, 2-1. So, for example, in Louisiana, in that area, people there with passports, they have the least percentage amount of people with passports, and they travel the least amount, and they tend to stay where they're at. Yainer Diaz hits that one out to center field. That's going to be an easy fly ball. Sanchez has to stay on second base. 2 away. But Crank It Up Cam comes to the plate. Crank it up Cam, baby. Crank it up Cam. So if you're from like Los Angeles or New York City or someplace like that, the chances of you having a passport go way up. The chances of you traveling around the country or moving somewhere else or traveling abroad or moving abroad or working abroad go up very high. So it depends on where you're from. But so yeah, what you're saying is correct, but it's even more detailed than that. 78-mile-per-hour changeup right in there, strike one. He just hit his 8th homer of the year the other day. It took him 2 months to get it. How about we get another one? This one ripped to third, but Moncada grabs it and throws to first base, and that's it. But he's still ripping the ball. Cam, since the last game, he hasn't swung and missed a single ball. Every time he swung the bat, he's gotten the bat on the ball, whether it's a foul, a grounder, a fly ball, or a homer. He's making a lot more contact with the ball right now. That's the end of the inning. The Astros don't get anything on the board, but we have a single in the first, a double in the second, courtesy of Altuve and Sanchez. A couple of left on bases for the Astros. We go into the top of the third, 0-0. 0-0. Let's see what I'm missing in my beloved live chat. Anyone else considering a super chat donation or a membership? I appreciate that very much. The visa I'm on now in Japan does not allow me to work. Interestingly enough, the Japanese government doesn't consider YouTube work. So there's a benefit and a drawback to that. The benefit is that I can do it, and that's good. But the drawback is that I can't use it as reportable income or as a business or to apply for a business visa. I have to find some other way to for example, I mean, right now I'm not making a lot of money on YouTube, but if I were making, let's say, even $5,000 or $6,000 a month, that's pretty good. But if I were making that, then I would have to find a way to put that money into some other business and establish a business in Japan, and it wouldn't have anything to do with YouTube in order for the government to actually acknowledge that as legitimate business. Because being a YouTuber, as most people call it, is not considered work, which I find hilarious because it takes a tremendous amount of time to do the things that I'm doing right now. Javier's back on the mound. First pitch, the Swiffer misses outside, ball one. He's faking Nico Cavadas. This must be that large and in charge first baseman. It is. Man, he's a thick guy. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. That's in there. Another Swiffer. 1-1. Maybe we should use golf balls, says Daryl. I moved to California when I was 20. Weather was amazing, but just unaffordable. Moved back a year. I understand that. I mean, a lot of people have the same opinion. A lot of people leave California for that reason. Taxes, everything being too expensive. California has crazy, crazy, crazy government policies and leaders there. There we go. Above the zone, a swing and a strike two. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cavadas. He was not able to hold back there. Cheapest apartment in the state was $740. Yeah, that's nuts. It's crazy how much prices have gone up. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Right in there, strike 3. He knew that. 93 right down the pipe. He just stood there and took it. Another strikeout. 4 strikeouts for Javier. Look at this. Boom. He was probably looking for another Swiffer. But Javier said, you know what? How about I try to sneak one in there real quick? And he did it. He lubed it up. Bam! Greased lightning. Here comes the first pitch to the next batter, Bryce Teodosio. A little low. Ball 1. 1-0 is the count. Yeah, you're right. It's all swamp area, RK. Everything down here. Yeah, Travis, you're right. I always laugh. I feel like Arizona people are babies when it comes to that stuff. This one's hit into shallow left field. Pena is out. Pena gets it. Out number 2. Teodosio goes down. Zach Neto comes back to the plate, the leadoff batter. The top of the lineup guy for the Fallen Angels. At least it's a dry flame, that's true. At least it's a dry flame. Yeah, they say the danger of being in a place like Arizona is you don't realize you're getting dehydrated and stuff. You don't feel it. But in those swampy areas, that's the problem. You can't not feel it. That's why it's so miserable. 0-1 count to Neto. He hits this one high in the air. Is it going to be playable? No, it goes foul. 0-2 with 2 outs. Nobody on here in the top of the 3rd. Yeah, I do want us to get a win today. That's for sure. That's for sure, Charles. 0-2. Looks like a child did Neto's facial cream. Take a look at his face. Guess he had his son put it on for him. Maybe he has like a 4-year-old son. He smeared it on his face for him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Timeout called as Neto steps out of the box. Yeah, Manila is another place I wouldn't want to live in. I wouldn't want to be there, Michael, for sure. Here's a pitch. This is hit high in the air. Diaz is over, and it's gonna be stuck. It looks like he was okay. That's interesting. Walker and Diaz were underneath it. It looked like it was going to come down, but it got stuck in the rafters. Never came down. Count remains 1-2 to Mr. Neto. Here comes the pitch. So, John, you think that Sanchez needs to be batting behind Altuve? So, what do you think? Pena, Altuve, Sanchez, and then Yordan? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because I don't want two lefties in a row. We have too many righties, so we need to stagger those with our lefties. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the full count pitch to Nito. He hits that one hard to left field, all the way out to the wall. Could be trouble, but it's not. Sanchez gets it at the base of the wall. Nito, with his childish facial cream, goes down deep to the warning track. That's 3 innings of shutout baseball for Mr. Christian Javier, thankfully. 0-0. No hitter for Javier through 3. Astros have 2 hits, no runs. Mauricio Dubon coming up to the plate in just a moment, and then we are back to the Astros top of the batting order with Jeremy Pena, the Flash, and Yordan Alvarez. Ken says he was raised on a ranch outside of Phoenix and had never been out of the state. Military career found me on 5 continents in that time. Yep, you know what? I think that's one thing that everybody should do. Now, traveling is one thing. I know that some people say, everybody should travel. Yes, I agree 100%. But I'm going to go one step further. I think that everybody should live outside of the country at least one time. And you need to live in another place long enough to start to get an understanding of where you're at. You can't. I mean, I've been living in Japan for over 5.5 years. In January, actually, it'll be 6 years. I lived in China almost 7 years. And I still have so much to learn about the culture and the people. There's always and the layout and the land and the language. There's always a lot more to learn. I could live here for the rest of my life if my body heals and I live to be 100 years old and I stay in Japan, there's still always going to be stuff for me to learn. But I say that people should live at least 6 months in another country. If they can, maybe even a year. Dubon swings and misses the very first pitch. Strike 1. Here comes the toss. Right in there. Foul ball to the right field side. It's going to bounce just by the net. 0-2 is the count. It's interesting how you just wound up being there. I love hearing all these interesting. These are all so very different. I'm gonna have to take a look at those in just a second. Here's a pitch to Doobie. That's in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the changeup. Daryl says, I've been to Northern Ireland many times. My mom was born there, but I've lived in Texas for 51 years. Oh, man, I'd love to go to Ireland. I bet it's beautiful. Saudi Arabia, Angel says, is the hottest place I've ever been. I can imagine. Here's the pitch. That's hit up the middle. Is it going to get down? No, it's right to the center fielder, and he puts it away. Nice solid strike, but once again, directly to the center fielder. Directly to the player. Jeremy Pena comes to the plate with 1 out, nobody on. Michael says, I grew up in Houston, lived there until I was 30. Once I left, I never went back. It's kind of like my story, except my parents took me out of there when I was around 7 or 8 years old. Now, I did go back to see family, but I never moved back. I wish I had. 79 rather. Can you imagine a 99 mile per hour changeup? 79, 89 mile per hour changeup. Makes more sense. On the outside, fouled away by Pena, strike 1. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the next pitch from Mr. Anderson. A little below the zone. Could have gone either way. Whew. I remember earlier the umpire calling one a strike that was much lower than that one, but it's okay. This one goes in the Astros' favor, just like the other one. 1-1. It's nice to get the calls for a change. Ah, Pena, why'd you go after that one? Another changeup fools Pena. 2 changeups on Pena. 2 swings and misses. 1-2 is the count. Angel says, I ended up in Houston because when I got out of the Army, I started to work for the oil and gas industry and then retired, never left. It's interesting how that worked out. Everybody's story is a little different. This is very cool to hear these things. Fouled off, 92 miles an hour, and fastball up in the top of the zone. Count remains 1-2. Angel says the Mariners are winning 4-1. That's no good. Jordan on deck. Here comes a 1-2 pitch to Pena. Get on base, bro. And he does. Single into left center field. He's going to try for 2. He's booking it. He's going to stretch it. He's in there. Holy cow. The Flash, baby. That is why I call him the Flash right there, because I thought for sure that was just a single, but he stretched it with hustle. Boom. He puts himself into scoring position for Jordan. Man, look at that. Look at that. Yes, he does have wheels. Yes, he does. I remember when I first started watching Pena, I thought, man, this guy's going to be a superstar. 86 low and outside, right on the lower outside corner. Strike 1 to Jordan. 1 out. Pena on second base. Big opportunity here. Even an extra base hit would be enough. And this is the guy to do it. Here comes the next pitch. Ooh, that's some crush to center field. It's gonna be deep enough maybe to get the tag. Yes. Pena tags and goes over. He didn't get it off the barrel of the bat. He hit it off, it sounded like the end of the bat. He crushed it, but since he did not get that ball off the barrel of the bat, it was not a homer. But it was deep enough to put Pena on third base. And that brings up Superman, who's already got a hit today. He went after that first pitch and put it into left field on a line drive, his last at bat. Let's see what he's got for us this time. 3 hits for the Astros, runner on third with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Yeah, we got to keep that pressure on. You're right. Live in Houston, take a shower, and get out. That pitch is high. Altuve lays off. 1-0. Just as soon as you get outside, you feel like you need another shower. You're absolutely right. When I would tell, I sometimes tell this to Japanese people. Like, I debate whether or not I want to go outside and get the mail. That's high also. 2-0 to Altuve. Because my mailbox was by the road, and from the front of my door at my house to the mailbox, it's about 20 feet. Here's the pitch. Now, below the zone, 3-0. He's not pitching to Altuve. He's scared of Altuve. He threw 2 way high. He threw a changeup low, and Altuve's not biting at that trash. I like it. Oh, I like it. Might even love it. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Ooh, 79 right in there. The changeup, but that was right in the zone. Altuve took it. It's kind of surprised he didn't swing. 3 balls and 1 strike, Altuve. Remember, Altuve, you're the man. You're the man. Here's the toss. He gets underneath it, fouls it off, but it looks like it's going to go into the crowd, and it does. Full count. But I remember, seriously, after the mail would be dropped off, I would think about, is there something that I'm expecting that I really need to get? Because if not, I'm not going to go out there right now. Because as soon as you open the door, it hits you, and you'll just immediately need another shower. So I was like, screw that. I'm not going to go outside and get all sweaty just to get the mail. I know exactly what you're talking about, Prodigy. Here comes the 3-2. Altuve loops it into left, but that's going to be right at the once again right at the fielder. Altuve put his bat out there, had the right idea, but it just carried too far. So Pena is stranded on third base. So the Astros get hits in every inning. We get a single, 2 doubles, 3 hits total. But we haven't brought in our base runners. We've had 2 runners in scoring position now on second and third. We go into the top of the fourth, tied up at 0 with the Broken Angels. Mike Trout due up, followed by Taylor Ward and Yoan Moncada. Let's take a look at the interesting stuff in the chat right quick. Let's see here. John says, didn't we used to have Tucker and Yordan back-to-back? I think sometimes we did. Sometimes we did, but that doesn't really prove anything. Tucker was a big hitter. He wasn't just a lefty. Sanchez is a lefty hitter, but he's no Yordan. And, of course, Tucker was playing at a much higher level than what Sanchez normally does. Now, of course, Sanchez has been pretty hot recently, but there are 2 issues with Sanchez. One is he's not always that player. Kyle Tucker at the time was Kyle Tucker. He was awesome. He was amazing against every pitcher, basically. So that's number one. There's definitely a huge difference in skill level. Number 2 is that Sanchez doesn't hit righties and lefties the same way. So even if he's hot, he's not going to do well against both sides of the plate. And that's why I say separate them. So you can't really use Tucker as a comparison for those 2 reasons. Tucker hits righties and lefties pretty well. At the time, he was awesome too. So if you take those 2 things into consideration, you can't compare. You can't compare Jesus Sanchez to the way Tucker was playing back then. First pitch from Javier is a high fastball for ball 1. Mike Trout at the plate. He struck out on a high fastball his last at bat. But Paul's right. We have Correa and Pena, so it's all good. 2 balls and no strikes on that Swiffer. Trout at the plate, 0 for 1 with the K. Good afternoon to you, Ed. Thank you for coming in. Here's the pitch. Ooh, a little high and outside, but the umpire liked it. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, we need to break up our righties and lefties a little bit. I mean, if all of our lefties were just bombers, then that'd be different. We could just put them 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. But Sanchez is not a bomber. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Trout. Don't lose him, Javi. Here comes the 3-1. Whoa, up and in. That is a walk. 4 and 1. A 5-pitch walk. And we have a leadoff walk again. So in the first inning, we had a leadoff walk. And we have another leadoff walk. Well, unfortunately, Prodigy, there has been a lot of pressure on Japan to do a lot of woke-type nonsense and change their immigration laws. And look at that. Line drive to right field. Cam Smith was able to come in and grab it, and he made a running throw to first base to try to double up Trout, but Trout was back. He took an extra step. I think that cost him, but Trout was easily able to get back, so not a big deal. Cam gunned it over there, but he took an extra step before he threw it. 1 away. Yoan Moncada at the plate. 77 knuckle curve in the top of the zone, strike 1. 0-1 is the count. Paul lives about 10 minutes from the AAA team, the Space Cowboys. That'd be kind of cool. I'd like to go see some of those games, but, you know, it's a little far away. He fouls that one off. Moncada's down 0-2 in the count. Runner on first base, 0-2 count. Whoa, way high. Goes off of Diaz's glove, and Trout's able to go to second base easily. That ball went way high. Yiner had to stand up to try to get it. He still didn't go up high enough. Needed to come up a little bit faster than that. I don't know if that's going to be a passed ball or a wild pitch. It's charged as a wild pitch. That one was also too high. 93 miles an hour above the zone, 2-2 suddenly. From 0-2 to 2-2. Man, Saudi Arabia Combat Engineer Battalion to set up infrastructure for Desert Storm. That's crazy. Little tapper to Javier. He lobs it to Walker at first base, out number 2. Trout goes to third base. 2 down, runner on third. Same situation that the Astros had last inning. I can only imagine how hot that work was, Ken. That's crazy. I actually got pulled out 3 months early for retirement. Was that just like a courtesy, or did you want to extend, Ken? I'm not sure if you're happy about that, or grateful, or upset or bothered by it. Joe comes to the plate. Javier and Diaz had a little mini meeting on the mound just now, and they are finished up. Trout on third base, 56 pitches for Javier. Here in the top of the fourth, 2 outs. First pitch to Joe Adell coming up in just a moment. Here comes the toss. In the dirt, low and inside. The sinker misses. 1-0. Yeah, that's right, DeLion. That was good hustle. It was good hustle to make the catch, and a good attempt to get the double play. Not possible, but it was close. Good try. This is hit in the air. Shallow left field. Sanchez calls it. He's going to put it away this time. That's out number 3. So after the leadoff walk and Trout moving all the way around to third on a wild pitch and then a grounder, Javier's able to shut it down. No hits. No runs. Javier with a no-hitter. 2 walks. No runs through 4 innings. Bottom of the fourth coming up for the Astros in just a moment. You're right, Daryl. That would suck to get a no-hitter and lose the game. I wonder who that's happened to. Can you imagine? You get a no-hitter, and maybe because of errors, like you walk somebody or you hit somebody or something. Maybe not a hit by pitch. Maybe just walk somebody. They get on base, and because of errors, they score, and then you still throw a no-hitter, but you wind up losing the game 1-0 or something like that. Has that happened? Surely that's happened. It's got to be super rare, but that would really suck. Ken says, I was happy to go home, just expected to be extended. That conflict was over for all purposes anyway. Okay. Yeah, in a situation like that, I can see how somebody might even feel bittersweet. It's like, yeah, I'm happy to be finished and go home, but that they didn't even offer the extension might bother some people. I can get that. Michael is right. We can't waste another great pitching effort by inept offense. I agree with you completely. Absolutely, I do. $100%. My first Astros game, little boy jumping up and down in the stands with a sign. That's cute. My first Astros game was in the Astrodome when I was probably a little younger than he was, or he is rather. Very first pitch right in there is fouled up and away for strike one to Carlos Correa. Correa's up at the plate, followed by Walker and Jesus Sanchez. By the way, I'm going to paste my membership link. Next pitch. Whoops. While I was getting my link, there was another ball. 2 balls thrown to Correa. First one was fouled off, and now the count is 2-1. I'm going to pin this at the top of the chat for anyone interested in the memberships. Little 2 inside. That fastball misses by several inches. It's 3-1 to Correa. Anyone interested in the memberships, you can click on that link and check them out, or you can just click on the $ next to the chat. Both are possible. That's in the dirt. Ball 4. 5-pitch walk. That's the very first walk by Mr. Tyler Anderson. Mr. Anderson. So, it would appear that you seem to be a hacker who can get on first base with the 5 pitches from, or giving up a walk with 5 pitches, Mr. Anderson. Christian Walker with a pop out. Line drive to left field. That's going to be down on the very first pitch. He rips it out there. Man, he got that ball out there so fast that the fielder was able to get it before before Correa even reached second base. Look at that. He just ripped it out there. 78 mile per hour Swiffer. Rifled it. How about that? Runners on first and second. And now they're having a meeting on the mound because Jesus Sanchez comes to the plate. Sanchez ripped it all the way out to the center field wall, his last at bat, for a nice double. Let's see what he comes up with right here. A bases clearing hit. I can feel it in me bones. Can feel it in me bones. Sarcastic prodigy. I know it sounds strange, but as far as Whataburger is concerned, I only miss the breakfast biscuit that had the fried chicken and pickle. Because there was no other taste like that anywhere. That one's in the dirt. Ball 1 to Sanchez. Oh, I missed a few other comments here. Load the bases and walk in a run. Yeah, that's right. I had hit my 20s by then and had no desire to re-enlist. That makes sense. That makes sense, Ken. You said you hit your 20s, you mean 30s? Oh, you mean 20 years service. Ah, okay. I think that's what you mean. I got it. 2 balls and no strikes to Sanchez with that pitch. He's scared to pitch to him. We got mini Jordan right here. Low and outside, 3-0. I like that. We think about that. Jordan's number is 44. Sanchez's number is 4. So this is Jordan's mini-me. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. Outside, 4-pitch walk. There we go. We got the bases juiced, baby. Yiner's going to give him a shiner. Yiner's gonna give him a shiner. All right. How about that? So who's on base right now? And they're having a little meeting on the mound. The pitching coach is coming out. This is a big important meeting. Big important meeting. That's right. There we go. South Korea. Skywalker. And Buddy Sanchez are on base. Yainer Diaz comes up with bases loaded. Earlier this year, if you guys remember, Diaz did get a grand slam, so just saying. He hits this one to third. He's going to step on third and go home and tag him out. Look, are you kidding me? Talk about unlucky. But you know, that's one of those things that happens. That's why I've said it before and I'll say it again. Yainer Diaz is one of our two main rally killers. Steps on the bag immediately and throws it home to get Correa. I don't think you can slide when you're tagged out before you ever get to the plate. How are you going to slide when you're still like 6 feet from the plate? There was nowhere to slide. Cam Smith comes to the plate. Still got 2 runners on. That's inside, ball 1. 2 outs. Crank it up, Cam. You can do it. It's your time. Definitely need to put one in orbit right here. Here comes the pitch. Bottom of the zone. Woo! That could have been a strike. Right there. The call of the ball. 2-0. But as far as Whataburger's hamburgers, I didn't care for them. I liked Wendy's more. Wendy's ice cream, Wendy's hamburgers. I loved their stuff. Here comes the pitch. 79 right in there, but a swing and a miss. That's the first ball I've seen Cam swing and miss in several at-bats. 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 outs, runners on first and second. Come on. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Anderson. Ooh, another changeup right in there. How do you throw a changeup right in the zone 2 times in a row and not even get the bat on it? 2 balls, 2 strikes. Come on, Cam. Another changeup in the bottom of the zone, swing and a miss. Look at that. 3 straight changeups. 2 right in the zone, 1 right below the zone. Swing, swing, swing. Astros get bases loaded with no outs, and they come up with absolutely nothing. I have no words to comment about that. I'm just gonna ignore what just happened. 4 hits for the Astros. It's 0-0 going into the top of the 5th. I'm not gonna say anything about what just happened. It didn't happen. I also miss Raising Cane's, by the way. Raising Cane's chicken. I really miss that. Even Popeye's chicken, but more than that, I miss Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is awesome. I also miss those breakfast places like Kettle that serve up the really nice breakfasts and country fried steak. They don't have country fried steak here. Yeah, it was a bit of a jam, but it was no problem, apparently, for the Angels. Yainer double play, ground out on the very first pitch. Cam Smith, swing, swing, swing. Ugh. Well, Yiner's not going to get himself an emote, DeLine. You're right. He had a bid for one, but if he wants an emoji, he's going to have to do better than that. He hasn't earned one yet. I mean, Yiner with the shiner, I really want to make that emoji, but until he's really earned it, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to earn it doing that. Michael says, had a dude try to argue with me that there was no luck in baseball. That's like saying there's no luck in life. I mean, you could argue that luck is just fate, but where's the line between luck and fate, you know? But you know, when a guy swings the bat, just for example, and it fouls off of his bat, it could go anywhere. It could go off of his foot. It could go off of the catcher's mask. It could go into the crowd. It could go into foul territory and be caught. Who knows where it's going to go? It's unpredictable. Here's the pitch. 91 below the zone. Ball 1 to Logan O'Hoppe. Top of the 5th. This game is tied. Goose eggs. Astros with 4 hits and a lot of left on base runners. He hits this one hard out to left field in the corner. Sanchez is over and he gets it right there in the corner. Good catch in the corner on the warning track. Out number 1. Yeah, don't lose your mind debating with people about stuff like that. Yep, sarcastic, you're right. Sarcastic Project says rally killer. That's right. The data doesn't lie. Our number 1 rally killer is Yainer Diaz. 77 in the top of the zone. Strike 1 to Christian Moore. Christian Javier with no C. Christian Moore with an H. It's the battle of the Christians. Which Christian will prevail? 2 different denominations right here. This is hit over to the right side. Walker is over. Did he get it? Look at that. Walker reaches over the dugout and catches it at the last possible moment. Wow. Wow, you know, when you caught that ball, I was very impressed. I was like, wow, you know, you went about it all right. Good job on the catch. Wow. 2 down. Nico Cavadas at the plate. That is called a ball. 1 strikeout today for Mr. Dad Bod. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Whoa, way up and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, you're right, Ken. He was looking for that fastball, but he should have just been looking for a ball in the zone, and he should have been ready to swing at everything. 92 miles an hour above the zone. 3-0. 2 outs, nobody on. We might get another walk right here. We'll see. Fox at bat says, go Astros. Go Astros indeed. Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, Angel, right? Not converting the runs. 93 miles an hour on the outside edge. Barely gets the strike. 3-1 is the count. Yeah, I love Wendy's. Wendy's has got it going on. They got the breakfast stuff, the greatest hamburgers, best cheese and bacon, greatest dessert, best ice cream. Swing and a miss. 84-mile-per-hour changeup at the bottom of the zone. I think Javier found his strikeout pitch. Full count. You know, what's interesting is that they have McDonald's all over the place in Asia, but I haven't found a single bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. Can you imagine? Foul back. 93 right in the zone. Why didn't he go with the changeup again? I don't know. Count remains full. It's interesting because they have the bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle here in Japan, but they don't have the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. And I don't know why, but nowhere in Asia. Well, that's a walk. 85 miles an hour outside. He does throw the changeup. Javier finally throws the changeup to try to get the strikeout, but it's high and outside. That's not where you put the changeup. You got to put it at the bottom of the zone or below the zone. He totally missed his mark. We have a runner on first with the walk. That's the third walk of the game for Javi. Bryce Teodosio, who flew out his last at bat, comes to the plate. 2 outs, runner on first. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss, 94, low and outside on the fastball, 0-1. But yeah, well, I say nowhere in Asia, but let me back up. I've in Korea and in China and Vietnam, in Japan, any McDonald's I've ever been to, I've never seen it. And biscuits are not popular here. You know how you can go in the U.S. and go buy a can of biscuits and just take them home and pop them on the tray and put them in the oven? They don't have that here. They don't have pie shells here. You know, pie is not a thing here. So if you want to make pies, go grab a can of pie filling and a pie shell out of the supermarket. Good luck with that. It doesn't exist. Here's a 0-2. Fouled back. But it really bothers me that I can't get a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit at McDonald's. It's so sad. It's the best thing on the menu. Prove me wrong. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Ooh, did he go? He does. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That was a Swiffer outside and low. Ken says, when my daughter was 10, I used to go to the Kettle for breakfast buffet every Saturday. That's pretty cool. I used to go there with my mom and dad here and there. I lived in the city and they lived in the countryside. Sometimes they would come in and that's where we would go. Outside, low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I remember meeting them there one day and my dad was not happy. My mom said he was down and depressed because he got a bad report from the doctor and he said he needed to make some changes in his life. Here's the pitch. Grounded at the plate. Count stays 2-2. And I said, what changes was he talking about? And she said the doctor said that his diet was terrible. All of his numbers from his blood tests were terrible and needed to start taking better care of himself. And my dad ordered like a double country fried steak with extra gravy and mashed potatoes and all of this stuff. And I was like, why are you upset? Why are you upset with what the doctor said if you're not going to do anything? Might as well just enjoy your life and kill yourself early. There we go. Strike 3. The knuckle curve right in there. Teodosio takes it down the middle. Javier picks up another K. The no-hitter continues through 5. Good Javi. Astros need to not let him down today. Bottom of the 5th coming up in just a moment. Astros due up. Let's see here. Mauricio Dubon is going to lead it off. And then we're back to the top of the batting order with Pena and Alvarez. Good opportunity to get some base runners on for the big man. Daryl says Kelly's chicken fried steak. Probably not a bad option. Cracker Barrel is definitely struggling to survive. They went too far woke. They're trying to backpedal on some of it. I see that they changed their logo back to the original logo. But their design and their changes and some of their... they've been avoiding cooking fresh. They were taken over by some terrible extreme far left wingers, and they promptly started destroying the company. Yeah, I'm in Japan, and even I know about that. You can't miss it online. I used to really like Cracker Barrel, Angel, but I hadn't been there in so long. I have no idea how much it's changed, but a lot of people aren't going there right now because of the crap that they've done. Ken says, trust me, there's luck in life. I'm still alive and shouldn't be. You and me both, brother. You and me both. I don't think I've ever said this in my live stream before, but I've been shot. And I don't mean I was grazed, like I was grazed on my arm or grazed on my leg or stuff. I mean point blank, right in the abdomen with a .38 revolver. I mean, I literally mean point blank, less than an inch away, straight in. How about that? Low and outside. I won't tell you the story how that happened. It was not an accident either. Mauricio Dubon at the plate. First pitch is a ball outside. Second one is in the dirt. So either Anderson is losing some command here or he's scared of Doobie. Probably scared of Doobie. There's a little bit of Doobie danger, right? 65 pitches right now, but they already have somebody warming up in the bullpen. Here comes the next toss to Doobie. Above the zone, could have been ball 3 on the four-seam fastball, but he takes it. Yeah, that was back in 2007, yeah. December of 2007, I got shot. Foul tipped by Doobie. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ken, you know, I'm not only still alive, but I'm not paralyzed. I should have been at least paralyzed. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Outside, 3-2, full count. I should have been paralyzed, or I should have died, or I should have needed a colostomy bag for the rest of my life, or something. None of those things happened. They did surgery on me. They repaired my intestine. None of my major organs were hit other than my intestine was pierced. They cleaned me up, put me back together. The bullet came out my back less than an inch from my spine. It missed my ribs. Talk about lucky. I don't know how that happened. It's just luck. Tapper to third, and he's going to leave it, and it's going to go all the way to the bag. The third baseman lets it roll all the way down the line, and it never went foul. How about that? Look at this. He taps it right down the line. He goes, bump, 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 bump. And he lets it go all the way to the bag. Fair ball. Doobie with the funniest single I've seen all season long. Yeah, he's like, yeah, baby. Got it. Here's the next batter, Jeremy Pena at the plate. 79-mile-an-hour changeup at the top of the zone. Todd Rowe says, I love me some Canes. I'd love to have some Canes again. Pena rips that one foul. 0-2 is the count. Yeah, some of these great players, you know, it's like they can't avoid injury. I mean, I know that you can't avoid injury at all. That's why I didn't want to play professional sports. That's fouled back. The count remains 0-2 to Pena. But some of these players, like Jordan and Tucker and Judge, you know, it's like, and even Ohtani, it's like they can't avoid the big injuries that take them out for months at a time. Too far inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, the Baconator fries. Yes, Wendy's, they throw bacon on everything, and it's good bacon. They've got good bacon. Here's the pitch, the 1-2. In the bottom of the zone, he lines it to first. Dubon has to hustle back to first to avoid the double play. Jeremy with the rip line drive. But once again, right at the fielder. 1 down. 5 hits for the Astros. We got Doobie on first base with 1 out. Yeah, that's right. Burger better with bacon. Fries better with bacon. Frosty, might be on to something. Air Jordan at the plate. First pitch on the way. Low and outside. You know, if Mr. Anderson here has lost a little bit of control, this might be prime time for Jordan to pull one into right field, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? 75 pitches. It's 1-0. Here comes the next toss. below the zone, 2-0. Daryl says, wow, I had biscuits and gravy the other day. You know what I want that I haven't had in a long time? They don't have anywhere here? Grits. I really want to have some grits. But they are nowhere to be found here. Here's the pitch. A little lone outside, 3-0. Anderson was like, it was a close? He's really trying to get those pitches out of the zone as a strike, but the umpire's not just giving them to him. Here comes the 3-0. Outside, ball 4. He wouldn't even throw one down the middle of the zone on a 3-0. He wouldn't do it. He refused. And that brings up Altuve out of the kettle and into the fire, so to speak, as Superman comes up to the plate. How sucky is that? You don't really want to pitch to Yordan because you got a guy on base, and you pitch around him, you walk him, but the guy coming up next is Jose Altuve. You just can't win. 1 out, runners on first and second for Jose. Here comes the pitch. He rips that first one down the line, but foul. Yeah, he does have a good knuckle curve, Ken. You're talking about Javier. He does have a good knuckle curve. That's right. Here comes the pitch. Hit high in the air. And catcher is underneath it. He's going to get it. No, it bounces off of his glove and it hits the net. How about that? Ohapi can't handle it. Nice. Took his eyes off of it. And look at him. He's like, no. No. There's the Darth Vader no. No. 0-2 is the count. Altuve gets another chance. Come on, sir. Let's see your best. Altuve hits this one high in the air. Shortstop is back. No, left fielder comes in, calls him off. He's got it. And that's out number 2. Runners remain on first and second for Carlos Correa. You said it's all about money, not woke. I disagree because they haven't done anything to make money, fish-eyed fool. They think they might think they are, but the reason they're making those changes is because of their ideals. They think their ideals are the best. Has nothing to do with money, so I completely disagree with that. It is 100% woke mindset. 100%. Here comes the next pitch. Correa's first pitch is a ball outside. We got runners on first and second just waiting to come home. Don't you want to send them to their home? They're not too good for their home, Correa. Here comes the 1-0 pitch from Anderson. Below the zone. 2-0. We might get bases loaded again. Who knows? Culver's double butter burger with cheese. Man, that sounds like something I'd want, except without the bread. I'm doing the keto thing, so I can't have the bread. But man, the double butter, cheese, hamburger, I can eat all that. I love it. Actually, I've got some hamburger meat in there I need to cook today, so I'll probably do that for lunch. Get some bacon, hamburger, egg. I've got cheese in there too. 2 balls and 1 strike to Correa. Here comes the toss. That was ripped foul down the first baseline. Kind of got around on it a little too late. 86-mile-per-hour cutter. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Yeah, Ed, we definitely need right here. I mean, this is the 5th inning, the bottom of the 5th. We've had too many opportunities. We've got to get a run here. Here's the pitch. This is up the middle, and that's going to be an easy out. He goes to first. And they strand 2 more. That's the end of the 5th. How many total left on base do the Astros have right now? I think 15 maybe. Angels have left almost none on base, basically. Well, I say almost none. 7. They've had 7 opportunities. You might wonder, wait a second, how can they have 7 on if there are only a few walks? Well, it's because they had 7 opportunities to move those runners around. That's what it means. Cumulative. Total opportunities to do something with a runner on base. That's 7 for the Angels. For the Astros, it's 15. The Astros have had a batter come to the plate with 15 runners on with the opportunity to move them around and did not do anything positive. 15 in just 5 innings. That's an average of 3 every inning. That's really, really bad. Really, really bad. That must improve. That must improve. Ken says, the only thing that kept me from going into professional ball, I kind of sucked. That'll do it. Life is a lottery. Number 1, no one knows when your number comes up. Yeah, it comes up eventually. But when does it come up? Sooner or later, no one knows. Yeah, Wendy's does have awesome chili. That's right. That's another thing that's really difficult to get in Japan and in Asia is chili. I don't know why it's so difficult. Now, you can go to Burger King here. Burger King here has the chili cheese fries, but they literally put like a spoonful of chili on there and a spoonful of cheese. It is so terrible. It's so terrible. It's not worth the money. And they charge a lot for it because it's Burger King. It's a premium American burger place. So you're going to pay at least $10 for a set. It's ridiculously overpriced for the full-size Whopper and small fries and small drink. Very first pitch to Nito is hit out into center field. Doobie is underneath it and puts it away. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Mike Trout comes to the plate. Shrimp and grits. Ugh. I can eat popcorn shrimp, but with the grits, no thanks. I'll pass on that. I like popcorn shrimp and I like grits, but not together. 1 walk and 1 strikeout for Mr. Trout. Javier going fishing again. Swiffer above the zone, ball 1. 1-0. Wow, so lucky. You're right. You're absolutely right. It was a big break, Michael. You're absolutely right. 76. At the bottom of the zone, the knuckle curve working it. 1-1 is the count to Mr. Trout. Here's the pitch. Grounded foul down the third baseline. McMorris says that the woke term is a new definition these days, meaning aware of the real truth. That was the original definition. The original definition of being woke was being aware of the truth, and then it became exclusively associated with extreme left crazy ideals. I do not yet believe it has progressed to where you say it is. Woo! 93 on that outside edge and a called strike 3. Trout didn't like that at all, but Javier gets the call. 6 strikeouts, 2 of those against Mr. Trout himself. Less than 2 inches outside the zone. Trout didn't seem like he liked it too much. 2 outs. Taylor Ward at the plate. Nice. Another strike. A Swiffer right in there for strike 1. Time to get the ducks off the pond. Well, it'd be nice. We keep dumping them out there, but it's a bunch of rubber ducks. Next pitch. 93 up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. I love pizza, Daryl, but I can't have that either unless I just eat all the toppings. But maybe the sauce has too many carbs, too. I could eat the cheese and the meat, and that's about it. Nice. In the bottom of the zone, a Swiffer. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Might pick up another strikeout right here. Yeah, Javier's got a no-hitter going. I mean, he's not going to last much longer, though. He's got to 84 pitches, so he can't throw a whole game. This is hit out into right field. Cam Smith is back at the track, and he puts it away for out number 3. 6 innings of no-hit ball for Javier. 6 innings, no-hitter, and the Astros haven't given him one single run. Astros with 5 hits, no runs. Angels with no hits, no runs. We're tied at goose eggs, but going into the bottom of the 6th. Let's hope that the STROS bats can do something here. Christian Walker, Jesus Sanchez, and Yainer Diaz are due up. Let's see if they can get something going. Travis says you can get some great chili mix here at the grocery stores in Houston. I've been vegetarian for over 25 years, so I make it with the soy crumbles. Delicious. My mom used to make the best chili, but if I were going to go buy chili, I would definitely go to Wendy's. I mean, like at a fast food place or a restaurant or something like that. They had awesome chili. You know, the chili that I never liked was Wolf brand chili. They advertised like crazy, but my family didn't eat it. And I was like, why don't we ever get Wolf brand chili? And my mom said that it doesn't taste good. It's not good chili. And I said, but they advertise it all the time. And she laughed. And she said, you can get some if you want some. And years later, when I was out on my own and living by myself, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try some Wolf brand chili. And she was right. My mom was right. It didn't taste good. I was like, man, they advertise the crap out of that chili, don't they? But it is the epitome of mediocre. Yeah, my mom always made chili, Patrick. Death Before Dishonor says, okay, I'm done doing maintenance on my wife's car. What did I miss? Man, you missed so far you've missed a 6-inning shutout pitching performance by Javier, a no-hitter. Death Before Dishonor. Javier's got a no-hitter going through 6 innings. It's the bottom of the 6th now, and the Astros are going up to bat. They've got 5 hits, but they haven't been able to get anybody off base to the home plate area. To the home plate area. They've done nothing in that way. They have a deference to 0 runs, a deference to scoring. Perhaps even you could say somewhat of an allergy to runs. Or something like that. Robert Stevenson is in the game for the Angels, so we have a new pitcher. Maybe we'll do something now. First pitch on the way to Walker. 90 in the bottom of the zone, swing and a miss. Tyler Anderson is gone. Robert Stevenson is in. Next pitch on the way to Walker, in the dirt. 1-1. Yeah, moms make everything better. That's right. Absolutely, I agree. Let's go Stros and deedly doos. Come on, Walker. All right, look at that. Right center field hit for Walker. Walker on with another single. All right. A little bit of a spin, but not too much action. Walker made him pay for it. He goes into right center field, and we have a leadoff runner on. How about that? Sanchez at the plate. Takes that first pitch in there. But that's actually the first strike he's seen in a while. I think he had like 4 balls thrown to him the last at bat. Before that, he had a double. So they were scared of pitching to him. Let's see what he does here. Here's the pitch. Ooh, low and inside. 0-2. Yeah, Walker's like, ooh, that was, or Sanchez like, oh man, that was close. They sell it in the stores now? That's amazing. Is it as good as what you buy in the actual Wendy's location, Travis? Or similar at least? M's lost. Did they lose? Are you serious, Ed? That's big news right there. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Too far inside on the fastball. 97 miles an hour. I need to make myself a little more coffee. But I got to open a new bag. I've got a huge bag of Japanese coffee right here. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Sanchez takes it in the dirt. Walker on first base. Sanchez at the plate. With the 2-2 count. Ooh. Ooh, that smells good. A little bit of an explosion when I opened it, though. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on the cutter, low and inside, and that's out number 1. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate. The only question now is, will Yainer be able to give them a shiner? Yainer Diaz came to the plate with bases loaded, no outs a moment ago. On the very first pitch, grounded into a double play. Let's see if he can turn it around right here. I'm going to put a little bit of fresh... Whoa! I just spilled some coffee grounds on my desk. That's not good. Oh, I got to reheat my water. Here comes the 0-2, first pitch, rather, with... oh, that's out in left field and foul. Did he catch it? They say no, it's not a catch. Oh, it came out of his glove anyway. Zach Neto goes into the net like crazy. Oh, he just missed it. Neto into the netting. It's funny because he ran all the way over there into the net, but he overran it. And he kind of had to lunge back, and he missed it. It went right over his glove. But I think that the umpire said that it was into the netting. Maybe that's why it went back over his glove. 0-1 on the foul ball to Diaz. 1 out, 1 runner on. This is another ground ball. The shortstop. Is there going to be another double play? No, he's able to get there. He's safe at first. So Diaz barely avoiding the double play. Holy freaking cow, Diaz. Diaz trying to ground into another double play. Cam Smith back at the plate, a ground out and a strikeout today. First pitch a little outside, ball 1. 3 straight breaking balls thrown to him earlier, and swing, 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 miss, miss, miss. That was the result. Stevenson goes over to first base really aggressively, but Diaz did not come off very far, so it was kind of a silly move. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Cam. 87 in the bottom of the zone. He fouls it off. The count is now 1-1. Shoot says, I don't know how you stay optimistic, but I appreciate that about Go. Thank you. I appreciate that, Shoot. Woo! Top of the zone, 96 miles an hour. Strike 2. Cam took it. But you know what, Shoot, to be honest, I I've been beat down in so many ways, in so many different ways. Just finally figured out that my perspective was broken. It wasn't, I realized it's not what's going on out here. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cam. It's not what other people are doing. It's not what's happening to your body. It's not any of those things. It's what you perceive about it. Whoa, he almost takes off Cam's head with that cutter. 86 miles an hour. The crowd is booing. Take a look at this. Whoa. That's going to have to go on a short. I'm going to have to put that on a short clip later. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. Run on first. Come on, Cam. Crawford boxes, baby. Here's the 3-2. He fouls it off. Cue shot to the first base side. But yeah, what I was saying, shoot, is basically, literally, it's just life is how you perceive it to be. That's the truth. It doesn't matter what's actually happening. It's your perception of it that matters. Travis says, I haven't tried it because it has beef. I've just seen it. Oddly enough, I've only seen it. Oh, Dollar General. That doesn't sound good. Up and in. Cam gets a walk. Well, that's better than getting out. That's for sure. And it gives Doobie a chance with runners on first and second. Pitching coach is going to have a little chit-chat with the pitcher. Doobie on deck. And I'm going to go get my hot water while they're talking to the pitcher. All right. It's kind of a strange feeling when you grab the kettle and you can feel it still boiling. Doobie went back to the dugout for a moment while they were having the meeting on the mound with the pitcher. He wanted to get some last-minute tips from the dugout. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. The first pitch is in the dirt. It's wild. It's going to get away all the way to the backstop. Runners advance to second and third. How about that? All right. I always love to see stuff like that. They have a meeting on the mound, and the pitcher comes out, and the very first pitch, something bad happens for the other team. I love it. Oh, I like it. Look at this. Boom. It just took off. When it hit the it like hit the plate and his glove, and it took off. Runners on second and third, 1-0. He grounds it to third, and that's going to be an easy throw. Yeah, and that's it. A ground out. How many times are we going to see that? More runners stranded for the Astros this inning. I think it's 1, 2, 2 or 3 more runners stranded. The total for the Astros right now is 19 in 6 innings. The Astros have stranded 19 runners. I'm sorry, they've left 19 runners on base. 19. It means that at some point there were 19 people on base, and nothing positive happened while those runners were on base. That's what it means. What in the world are they doing? 6 hits, no runs, 19 runners left on. But Javier has a 6-inning complete no-hit shutout going on. Tommy does want a home run, Angel. He obviously does. We need something, Jordan. We need a dinger. We need, I mean, even right there, a single would have been enough. If anybody ever tries the chilies, the chili from Wendy's, rather, the stuff that you can buy in the store, let me know. I'm interested to see how it compares with the stuff you actually get at Wendy's. If you buy it at Dollar General and it's the same, I'd be kind of worried about that. But still, you know, Wendy's chili tastes pretty good. Tommy want ball to go into orbit. Yes, he do. Hey, Mark. Mark says thank you for the commentary. Mark Cape Town. Mark Cape Town. This is STROS Yoshwara. The area where I live is called Yoshwara. It's in a town, it's part of a town called Toyosaka. De Los Santos is now on the mound for the Astros. I'm going to have to change the picture on the screen. Enyo de Los Santos. There he is. First pitch is a ball. He's facing Yoan Moncada. Here's the pitch. This is hit straight up the middle. And that's going to be the first hit off the wall. The very first batter is a double off the wall. Can you believe it? So there goes the no-hitter. Javier pitches a no-hit shutout through 6 innings, and the very first batter faced by De Los Santos on the second pitch. Double off the wall. Change up at the bottom of the zone. Yeah. In Japan, there's a huge area called Hiroshima Prefecture, and Hiroshima City is the capital city. But inside of Hiroshima Prefecture are many other areas and cities, and East Hiroshima is actually considered a city itself. This is hit hard to right field, and that's down for another hit. Runners held at third. Cam Smith brings it all the way in, and we have runners on the corners with no outs. They are letting Javier's amazing work suffer right now. I'm a little surprised that De Los Santos has come out looking like this. You know, earlier in the season, the Astros were doing so well because the pitchers were doing awesome and the batters were just doing average. But now we can't even get the batters to do average, it seems. But anyway, so Higashi Hiroshima City, and then Toyosaka Town, and then Yoshiwara, which is kind of like a borough, or not even that. It's like a village. That's where I live. Little bitty tiny place. It doesn't get any smaller than this area. Maybe a little smaller, but it is very rural, very countryside. I have one neighbor and rice fields. Here comes the pitch. Next batter at the plate. This is Logan O'Hoppe. He hits it out to shallow right field. Cam gets it and he throws it home. Cam is able to keep him from tagging. He fakes the tag. Cam brings it in quick, and the runner stays on third base. Good play by Cam. Yeah, he throws it straight to Christian Walker. Perfect throw. One down, runners on the corners. Christian Moore at the plate. Woo, 97 right in there. Strike one. Yes, it is Japan, Mark. Hiroshima, Japan. But I'm way out of the city. Driving from here, it's an hour to an hour and a half to the city, depending on if you take the tollway or not. Here's the pitch. High and outside. One ball, one strike to Moore. Shoot, his pitch count was almost at 80. It was like 86. I mean, almost at 90. Around 86. Swing and a miss. 97, up and out. I think Javier was at his limit. I don't think it was a dumb move. I think it was the right move. Javier was at his limit. He was almost at 90 pitches. Let's see here. Travis says life is weird. It goes up and down, sometimes more down than not. You're right. I don't have kids, so I've become more comfortable with the idea of checking out. Yeah. I have one daughter, but she's not really my daughter anymore. Swing and a miss. 98 miles an hour on the outside. Look at that. De Los Santos in with a steamer. Now he's pitching like he's ticked off. Look at that. Woof. Boom, baby. 98 miles an hour. 2 outs. Runners remain on the corners. Nico Cavadas at the plate. Woo! 91 low and outside on that corner. Strike one. Man, De Los Santos looks ticked off right now. Is this like the Josh Hader style? He gets mad and he starts throwing harder and getting more strikeouts? If so, I'm all for it. Bruce Lee approves. Go Astros. Woo! 97 just above the zone. Ball one. The count is even. Travis, I don't see... You're just being honest there, man. I know what you're saying. Trust me, I know what you're saying. Here's the pitch. This is hit hard to right field. All the way back to the wall. Might be danger. No! Cam Smith grabs it! He grabs it right at the wall with the backhand. De Los Santos yelling at Cam Smith out there in right field for making that catch. The Astros get out of it. De Los Santos gives off 2 hits and then comes back and gets the next 3 batters. Whew. First 2 hits for the Angels, but no runs on the board. They get a little taste. They get a little taste of stranded runners. A little bit of frustration. The Astros are now not the only ones to strand runners on the base. How about that? Superman Cam, maybe Super Cam? Super Cam. That was a very difficult situation, but we got out of it. I was surprised that De Los Santos even got into that jam, but he got out of it. That I'm not surprised about, but he did a good job. Yeah, you're right, DeLine. He had, 85. I knew it was 85 or 86. 85 pitches with 51 strikes, actually. So, of course, he had to pull him out. He's at his limit right now, his pitch limit. So, unless Espada wanted to push him and possibly injure him, it was good to pull him out, No, I 100% back Espada's choice to take Javier out. He was at his limit. Yeah, Ken says, I don't know what Correa told him, but it was effective. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ken, I agree. My heart can't take it either. My kidney can't take it. My heart can't take it. All these blood clots I got scattered around my body can't take it. Maybe to break up my blood clots. Maybe it'd be a good thing. It'll break up the blood clots. I'll have the pulmonary embolism, but I'll survive it. And after that, I'll be clot free. Oh, man. Jeremy Pena at the plate, leading it off for the Astros here in the bottom half of the 7th. The bottom of the 7th. Swing and a miss, 97 on the inside. We got a different pitcher on the mound, looks like. Who's this guy? They haven't put it on the screen yet. That's not Robert Stevenson. That's somebody else. Second pitch to Pena is hit up the middle, and that's going to be right at the center fielder. He puts it away for out number 1. Luis Garcia. It was a nice solid swing and line drive straight up the middle, but just like I said earlier, it was right at the fielder. One swing from Jordan right here could give us the lead for the first time. No runners, one out. Here's the pitch. He bounces that one in the dirt because he's scared. Luis Garcia on the mound facing Air Jordan. Couple of flyouts. A walk. Typical Jordan stuff. Add a little HR onto there, and I don't mean human resources. Way outside and high. 2 balls and no strikes. Hey, old dog. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. You're absolutely right, Jay. We need to not let this go to waste. It's a good opportunity. That's hit hard to the second baseman. He can't handle it. Jordan is going to be safe on first base. So even when he grounds the ball, the fielders can't handle it. $112 miles an hour. 112.6 miles an hour. And it jumped up on him and he couldn't handle it. Jordan on first. They're going to call that an error. Not a hit. Jose Altuve at the plate. He snuck one into the Crawford boxes the other day, and I mean right in the corner on the front row, just barely. He might be aiming for one now. You know he's got to be thinking it. Here's the pitch. He gets underneath it, but too much. Might be trouble, though. It's dropped. Jordan gets to second base. Good read by Jordan there. The left fielder, the center fielder, the shortstop were all out. The shortstop went after it with a basket catch over the shoulder, but he dropped it. Jordan, look at Jordan. Jordan goes more than halfway to second. He's almost always all the way there. Good base running by Jordan Alvarez right there. We have runners on first and second after they're unable. Watch Jordan. He's like, yeah, I got it. Barely in there in time. If he had not done that, perfect play. So Altuve is going to be on. They're going to count that as a hit. And now they're having another meeting on the mound before Carlos Correa comes to the plate. Bottom of the 7th. Big opportunities here for the Stros. Let's goes. With runners in scoring position today, the Astros are 0 for 9. The Angels are 1 for 6. And that brings up Mr. South Korea. All right. So we get the Altuve snap. Now we need a little bit of South Korea. Come on. 83 in the bottom of the zone on the Swiffer, taken for strike 1. If Jordan hits the ball at 459 miles an hour, I'd be shocked, but I'd believe it. Fouls it off, 0-2. Another Swiffer. Come on there, Correa. We need you, buddy. Kind of reminds me of Knight Rider. Come on, Correa. We need you, buddy. Oh, 2 pitch with 2 runners on. In the dirt. 1-2. Yeah, some more likes is always nice. Likes, subscriptions, donations, super chats. Show me some love. Craig Kimbrell is warming up in the bullpen for the Astros. Next pitch from Garcia on the way. 100 miles an hour and he fouls it off. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count remains. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I see that, Mark. That's funny. 3-run shot. Let's go. I want to see a Correa shot. Please, just some Astro. Put it into the boxes out there. Come on. In the dirt again. 2-2. Yeah, Fox at bat, thank you so much. I didn't know the score. I knew that the Guardians had walked it off, right? But 5-4, that's awesome. We can go up, what, 3 games? 3 games, we win this one. The theme song from the Munsters. Here comes the 2-2 to Correa. That's a ball down in right field. That's going to be a single. They're waving Jordan around. Here comes the throw. He's able to score. Jordan scores from second base. Another good read. Jordan reading those hits really well. Brilliant base running. Altuve, is he able to go to third, or did he stay on second? Opposite field, more professional base hitting from Carlos Correa, showing that ability to just go after the holes in the defense. Yeah, Altuve stops on second base. But as soon as Jordan saw it, he booked it. Look at that. Look at that hustle. 1-0 Astros. 8 hits now. South Korea, baby. Christian Walker at the plate, swing and a miss on the Swiffer. South Korea all day, baby. That's right. Now we have Skywalker. Here's the pitch. Ooh, I'm not so sure about that one. A little outside, but called a strike. The Swiffer 0-2. Yeah, Jordan doesn't look fast because he's a big guy, but he moves a lot faster. It's kind of like the train thing, you know? The train is moving a lot faster than you think it is. Here's the pitch. Strike 3. 98 right down the pipe. Walker stands there and takes it. Come on now. 2 outs, runners on first and second, and that brings up Jesus Sanchez, baby. Come on. Buddy Sanchez at the plate. Low and outside. Yeah, Gregory. Walker let us down that time. But you know what? I mean, that's the way he bats. He'll strike out like 3 times and hit a homer. Too far inside. 2-0 to Sanchez. Altuve on second. Correa on first. Yeah, old dog, you showed up just in time for the only freaking run of the game. That's 1-0. We're destroying them. Here's the pitch. Hey, wild pitch. It gets away. Bounces way over. Altuve and Sanchez are... I'm sorry. Altuve and Correa are easily able to advance. Now we have both runners in scoring position. We might be able to attack a couple more runs on the board right here. Look at this. Another one that just bounced off the glove. Way up high. 3 balls and no strikes to Sanchez. 3-0, baby. Hello, Caesar. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Sanchez takes ball 4, 98 miles an hour high. He didn't want to walk. He didn't want to pitch to Sanchez, apparently. Bases loaded, and guess who comes to the plate? Yainer Diaz. Yainer came to the plate with bases loaded earlier and no outs and grounded into a double play on the very first pitch. Now he has bases loaded with 2 outs. He goes after the first pitch again, but fouls this one off. 97 up and in. Thanks, Gregory. By the way, I only have 2 designs for my shirts right now. I haven't had a lot of time to think about it. But if you guys have any requests of shirts or mugs or whatever that you think I should do, I will be happy to make those and put those in my store. By the way, it looks like he's got a little bit of a blister going on his finger. He's talking to the pitcher and the pitching coach and the trainer right now. Got a little bit of pause in the game. The crowd is booing. The count is 0-1. He decides, no, it's okay, I'll stay in. after that last pitch. He's looking at his fingers. Bases juiced. 2 outs. 0-1 is the count to Mr. Yiner. Will Yiner give him a shiner? That's the question. Shiner? 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 Let's see. Here's a pitch. Little check swing. They say he went around. 0-2. Oh, and 2 to Yiner. He chases that one and fouls it off. Count remains 0-2. A grand salami? You want a grand salami? If he hits a grand salami, he'll definitely get an emoji, but after Jordan. Jordan gets the next emoji. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Right field. Woo, man. He played around with the idea of an opposite fielder. If anybody can hit an opposite field home run, it's Diaz. You know what I've always said about Diaz? He's the opposite field king. The only other guy that's better at it is Carlos Correa, because he's a lot more deliberate about it. But Diaz is just naturally an opposite field hitter. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, outside. First ball, 1-2. John, the only pitches that Diaz doesn't like are the ones that are right in the zone, maybe. Straight down the middle, right in the zone. Maybe that's the one pitch that he doesn't like. Here comes the 1-2 from Garcia. Yiner checks his swing, and that was... He wanted to go after that one, John. He wanted to go after... That was a Swiffer low and outside in the dirt. He wanted it so bad. He was like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. Diaz trying to go for the low-hanging fruit, but it's 2-2. Here's the next toss from Garcia. On the inside, and he hits that one to the left side. That should be out number 3, and it is. He fouls out. That should have been ball 3. It was up and in on the inside, and we strand 3 runners on. Yiner, twice in a row, fails to convert. Yiner Diaz, at least 6 left on base for Yiner this game. At least 6. Maybe more. 8. Base runners left on by Yiner Diaz this game without being advanced. 8. I want you to see that. Who else is leading the Astros in left on base? It's pretty spread out through everybody else. Altuve has 3. Correa has 3. Walker has 2. Smith has 3. Dubon has 2. Sanchez has 1. Alvarez has 1. Pena has 1. Every single Astro has been up to the plate at least with one opportunity, at least one opportunity to move a base runner around and didn't do it. Everybody in the lineup, at least once. Dubon, Walker have left runners on twice without moving them around. Altuve, Correa, and Cam Smith have had 3 opportunities and didn't move anybody around. But Diaz is the biggest offender, having 8 base runners on when he was at the plate, and he didn't do anything positive. He didn't get hit by a pitch. He didn't have a sacrifice fly. He didn't get a bunt. He didn't get a single, a double, a triple, a homer, nothing. Not a walk, nothing. Even a fielder's choice, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Well, I'm sorry. He did get the fielder's choice. But as far as doing something positive, 0. Nothing. Speaking of Diaz, he's on the mound talking with Craig Kimbrell and Correa. Kimbrell is now in the game. He's pitched 1 inning for the Astros so far, has 2 strikeouts on 16 pitches, 1 hit. Time to change the portrait on the screen. All right. We've got the vulture on the mound, baby. He is facing Bryce Teodosio. Here's the pitch. Woo, the knuckle curve started way out and came way in. That was a nasty looking pitch, but ball 1. How did he not swing at that? Oh, Luis Ringifo is in for Teodosio. They didn't change it on the screen. That's in the bottom of the zone. The knuckle curve again. Strike 1, and the count is 1-1. Luis Ringifo is pinch hitting. Here's the pitch. Low and inside on the knuckle curve. 3 straight knuckle curves, and they say he didn't swing. That's 2-1. Yep, LFO, baby, looking for offense. Here's the next pitch. High and outside, 3-1. Yeah. Yeah, Cleveland did beat Seattle, Susan. You're right. I think they, if I'm not mistaken, they walked it off. I don't know the details, but that's what I heard. 94, too high. The fastball misses, so he walks the first batter here in the 8th. Astros nursing a 1-0 lead. After 7 innings, the Astros can only score 1 run off of 8 hits. The Angels mustered 2 hits in the last inning, but weren't able to convert, thankfully. Zach Neto, with his childish face cream, comes to the plate. He's over 2 today. Here comes the toss. Low and outside. Ball 1, another ball. Craig Kimbrell on the mound for the Astros. He had a good inning his last time up, his first time up for the Astros. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Way outside. Fastball misses again. 2-0. Most of his pitches now have been balls. He throws it over to first base. Runner gets back, no problem. Yeah, you're right, DeLion. That knuckle curve movement that he has, it looks like a Swiffer, like a really good sweeper, you know? It's crazy how much it moves. Hey, Hernandez, good to see you. 94, strike 1, right in the top of the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hope you had a good day at work. Settle in and get some rest. Astros looking for offense, you're right. Lobsters. Too many stranded base runners, you're right. LOB, that's right. Nice. On the outside edge. Strike 2. 2-2. That's funny, though. Lobsters. The Astros are lobsters. The Astros hitters are lobsters. I like that. You know what? I'm gonna take that. J. Paul, you said that. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna turn it into kind of a meme later on. I'm gonna make an image for that. Thank you for pointing that out. I'll give you credit. Here's the pitch and an attempted steal. Here's the throw. They say he's safe. Altuve had tagged him, but then he tags him on the head when he's getting up. He like bumps him on the head. That was cute. Yeah, it came in just a little too late. Was not a bad throw. Just couldn't get it there in time. Full count. Runner on second, no outs. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Yeah, he went too far. Neto says, why can't I appeal to first base? He's griping at him. He's like, dude, because I called you out. I said you swung. Can't appeal, I think. He's right here. Look, he says, you swung. You see him point at him? Look at this. Okay, look. He obviously goes around, right? Definitely a swing. And immediately the umpire points at him and he's like, you You are guilty of swinging. Maybe you should have somebody else other than your children put your face cream on your face. You know what I'm saying? Here comes the first pitch to the next batter in the dirt and low and outside. 1 out, 1 ball, no strikes. Mike Trout at the plate with a runner on second. Yeah, why would you cry about that when you know that you went around? You know you went around. You're literally whining because you want an opportunity to get the call wrong. How unsportsmanlike is that? Outside, but called a strike. Man, that was a couple inches out of the zone. Astros get one from the umpire. That's nice. 1-1. Ort is warming up in the bullpen. Interesting. Next pitch to Trout. Ooh, 93 right above the zone. I am very surprised that Trout did not swing at that. Look how close that was. Usually goes after those pitches. Here comes a pitch. Swing and a miss. See, there we go. 94 at the top of the zone that time, not above it. Trout went after it, couldn't get it. Trout likes that pitch. The heater at the top of the zone, and that's why pitchers like to throw there, is because he doesn't hit it very well. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, Diaz is a lobster for sure. Here's a pitch. 94 at the top of the zone, and he took it for strike 3. Mike Trout's like, you know what? I can't hit that high fastball, so I'm just going to let it go and hope for the best. Didn't work out for you this time. That's another strikeout. Look at this. Perfect. Boom. Man, right below the chest. That couldn't have gotten any more perfect. It couldn't have gotten more perfecter. 2 outs. Next batter is Taylor Ward. That pitch was outside the Ward for ball 1. Yeah, that's right. Pine tar instead of face cream. Here's the pitch. On the Swiffer, outside again. 2-0 is the count. Yeah, isn't Neto always the crybaby? He always acts like that. He must be the most annoying team member, right? Knuckle curve, but too far inside, and it's 3-0. Don't lose him here. Don't lose him. Why is it so warm? My fan is off. That's why. And a 4-pitch walk. And with that, I'm going to walk over here and turn my fan back on. 2 runners on with 2 outs. All right. Yoan Moncada is due up for the Angels. We have runners on first and second base with 2 outs. Kimbrel on the mound. Caleb Ort warming up in the bullpen. Here's the first pitch. Kimbrel up to his 21st pitch with this delivery. A little above the zone on the fastball. 1-0. 5 straight balls thrown by Kimbrel after the strikeout of Trout. How do you go from looking so perfect against Trout to throwing 5 straight balls? Make that 6. The knuckle curve right now, outside and high, 2-0 to Moncada. Yeah, that's what he should do. Espada takes everybody out for lobsters, and they want to know why. It's because that's what you are. You're just a bunch of lobsters. Finally in there, barely on the inside. 2-1. A bunch of left-on basters. That's what you are. Javier goes out there and throws a perfect game, and you just keep lobstering the bases. Putting lobsters on. Leaving lobsters on. Whew. The knuckle curve misses below the zone by just a couple inches, and it's 3-1. Joe Adele on deck. 2 outs, 2 runners on, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Come on, Kimbrel. I believe in you, man. You can do it. Too far inside. Well, he can do it, but will he do it or not? That's the question. It looks like Espada's not going to let him pitch to Joe Adele. He's going to go ahead and go out and pull Kimbrel. I didn't expect to see this. Kimbrel is a veteran pitcher, and he has not been doing bad. And his first outing for the Astros looked pretty good, actually. So I didn't expect him to struggle this much. Pick up 2 outs and get 3 guys on, you know. I did not expect that at all. Did not expect that. "25 pitches and only 8 strikes in that inning." That's the story of Kimbrel. Unbelievable numbers. Caleb Ort is going to be in the game now. Ort is coming in with bases loaded and 2 outs. Kind of crazy to think about. Can you imagine the beginning of the year? Oh, it's the top of the 8th. We've got a 1-run lead. Bases are loaded with 2 outs. Let's bring in Caleb Ort. If you want to know what kind of condition the Astros are in, all you have to do is think about how crazy this situation is. Bases loaded in the 8th inning with 2 outs. We're up 1-0, and they're bringing in Caleb Ort. This is a big coin toss right here. What a game! This is why we love baseball. If you have not liked the live stream, please do so. Now is a good opportunity to do that before we see the nonsense that's about to happen. We've got almost 200 people watching the live stream right now. Please like the live stream and give me some love that no matter what happens here, it will be well earned. 91 up and in, strike 1. Joe Adele at the plate. 0-1. Got almost 200 people and not even 100 likes. That's terrible ratio. Please like that live stream. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. This is hit foul. 97. Upper outer part of the zone. Fouled off by Adele. Comes down to this. Ort waves the ball around and says, "This one is not good for me. Thank you, sir. May I have another?" Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Way high, 97 steamer, but about 20 feet above the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Mr. Adele. Yeah, Brendan, Cam did make a really great catch out there. You're right. Woo! Just barely misses at the top of the zone, just a little high. 98 miles an hour. Doesn't get the strike, doesn't get the swing, but look how close that was. Whew. Come on, Ort. You got the arm. You can do it, baby. Here's the 2-2. Come on. This is hit into center field. Dubon is back. He has room, and he puts it away. All right. Dubon floats back and gets the catch in center field. Ort gets the final out with bases loaded. No damage done. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Running on fumes, the Astros bullpen manages to limp through the 8th inning. Yeah, you know, Gregory, the cameraman did not help it either, because if you notice, if you go back and look at it, the cameraman went way up like the ball was going to go all the way to the fence. So it was a little off-putting. But I was looking at Dubon, and I could see that Doobie was not playing it that deep. And so I realized that it was not going to go out. I was like, oh, whew. Yes. Lobsters on Ort. The lobsters are on Ort tonight. But that's actually kind of like Asian style. You know, if it's your birthday or if it's a special day for you, then you treat everybody else. It's so funny because American style is like if it's your birthday or a special day for you or something like that, then everybody takes you out. People give you gifts, right? They buy you dinner. But I remember when I first moved abroad and I was in China and it would be my birthday, and I would want to go out with some of my colleagues or whatever, a couple of the friends that I'd made. You know, their idea is, yeah, I mean, a lot of people wanted to come. That's the crazy thing. A lot of people said, oh, can I come? Can I come? And a lot of people wanted to come. And I realized why later on. It's because when you go out with somebody for their birthday, they pay for the whole meal. They pay for everybody. And I was like, what kind of crap is that? No, I'm not going to pay. I mean, a bunch of people wanted to come out. And a friend of mine said, one of the guys that I'd made, he's like a foreigner, but he's ABC, American-born Chinese. He said, hey, listen, man, if you have a lot of people come out with you for your birthday, they expect that you're paying because you pay. It's your birthday, you pay, and that's why all these people want to come out, because you're going to be buying the drinks and the food and stuff. And I'm like, no, screw that. Cam Smith at the plate. First pitch is outside, ball 1. It is the bottom of the 8th. The Astros have another opportunity to extend the lead here. It's 1-0. 8 hits for the Astros, 2 for the Angels. Whoa. Way outside and low. By the way, the Astros are not warming up anybody in the bullpen. Most likely Ort will be back out in the 9th. So we got our highest leverage reliever on reserve for the 9th. Another one way outside. Oh, this is a new pitcher. No wonder he's looking completely different. Ryan Zeffergen. Is that how you say his name? That's a walk. 4-pitch walk. 4-pitch walk to Cam Smith. We have a runner. A fast runner. A very fast runner on first base. That brings up Doobie. This is the guy I want at the base right now. I want at the plate, rather. Here in the 8th inning with a runner on. Come on, Doobie. You can figure it out. He bunts it. Nice bunt. Zefferjon bobbles it for a second. Is able to get Doobie at first, but Doobie does his job. He gets Cam to second base. I told you, man. Why do they do it right now? I mean, it's appropriate. Well, why do they do it now, but they don't do it whenever they have a runner on second in extra innings, you know? I just don't get... I feel like the Astros do a coin flip when it comes to bunting. They're in a situation where bunting makes sense, and then they just toss a coin, you know? 1 down, runner on second. That brings up a top of our lineup. Jeremy Pena, the flash is at the plate. Here's the pitch. Hey, that's off of the shortstop, and it's going to bounce into left field. Cam is able to get over to third base because of that. A line drive hit off the shortstop. He couldn't handle it. What a rocket by Jeremy Pena. Kind of reminiscent of Jordan's hit. Look at this. Short hopper. Boom. Cam puts on the brakes and goes right back to third. Look at Cam. He's like, what? Runners on the corners with 1 out. And that brings up our number 1 dude. Our number 1 hitter. Air Jordan at the plate. First pitch. Opposite. Ooh, 98 miles an hour. Fouls it off on the third base side. I'm surprised he went after him right off the bat. Ryan Zefferson with that fastball down the middle, 98 miles an hour. I love to see Jordan licking his lips when he's at the plate. It's freaking awesome. It's like he's getting ready for a steak. Delicious ribeye, big ribeye. He's like, come on, man, serve it up. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat that up. Outside, ball 1. 1-1 is the count to Jordan. Runners on the corners with 1 away. Here's the toss. That's hit into center field. That's going to be deep enough for Cam to tag, I think. Here it comes. Cam's going to try. Does he get there? Yes, he does. Cam's speed gets him to the plate in time, and Alvarez puts it just deep enough to make it 2-0 Stros. And because of the throw, Pena goes to second base. Good play on the part of both Astros. Cam decided to test him. They sent him. Good job. Sacrifice fly. And there's our big guy putting it out there just deep enough to give us another run. Altuve at the plate, 99 on the outside edge. That was a difficult pitch. 0-1 is the count. Come on, Superman. You still got the flash on second base. Let's move him in. Ooh, Swiffer. Swing and a miss. 0-2. 2 outs. 9 hits for the Astros now. 2 runs on the board. Yeah, if nothing else, Cam's got some energy. That's right. Here comes the 0-2 Altuve, and that's outside in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Zefferson. Mr. Zefferson. And versus Superman. Come on, Altuve. Let's give us something extra to cheer about right here. He crushes it to left field. Look at that. A blast to the upper deck, but foul. Holy cow. Altuve just with an easy swing just crushed it into the upper decks, but foul. Man. The count remains 1-2. Tommy wants it in the Crawford boxes. Yes, he do. Here's another pitch from Zefferson. Altuve goes opposite field this time. And it's played by the right fielder. Cameraman trying to fool us again by showing us the stands out there. But that's out number 3. Good old Cam Smith, flash 2. You could say reverse flash. I think that's good for Cam. He's definitely reverse flash. So Pena is flash. Cam is reverse flash. There we go. I don't know, old dog. I think Javier has got the MVP of this game. Javier with 6 innings, no hits, shutout ball. I'd give him the MVP for sure. Maybe I think you came in late though, so maybe you're not thinking about that, right? Because by the time you came in, that was like right at the end, or right after the right at the end of Javier's 6 innings of no hit ball. Yeah, he did have a good catch. Well, he saved a homer. He didn't save any home run. He didn't save a home run. He just caught a ball by the wall. He didn't save a homer. Cam Smith did not catch any ball over the fence, so he didn't save a homer. He saved us from some runs, maybe 1 or 2 runs, and he saved Javier's no-hitter, but he didn't save us from a homer. But I would definitely give the MVP to Javier for 6 innings of no-hit ball. I mean, how awesome is that? Just a couple of walks. How many strikeouts did he have? Javier today, what did he do? 85 pitches, 51 strikes. 6 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, no homers, of course. MVP definitely I would give to Christian Javier, for sure. No debate in my mind. Caleb Ort is on the mound again for the Astros. He's going to be facing Logan O'Hoppe. Top of the ninth, 2-0. Right in there, 97 miles an hour. Nice, solid inside corner, inside edge fastball. It started off. All right. Oakert is warming up just in case they need him. Actually, there's a good chance he comes in because it depends on who's at the plate. There he is out there right now. They might have him ready to go against certain batters, depending on who comes to the plate. 1-1, here's the pitch. Strike 2, swing and a miss. 96 at the top of the zone. Good pitch by Ort. Yeah, you're right, Brendan. Camera person needs a new job, tricking us. Yeah, you really have to watch the player. But in that last one, you couldn't even see the right fielder. Half swing. Pena scoops it up and fires the first. Good throw. Had to make a quick play on it. Man, Pena's got some big freaking arms. As fast as Pena is, I'd like to know what he does to make his freaking arms so big. I mean, even his legs. He's got some muscle. He's got some serious muscle, but that's why I always thought that Pena would be a superstar, is because he was fast, he was energetic, got muscle. He's like got the total package. The sky's the limit for Mr. Pena. First pitch is in there for strike 1 to Christian Moore. 1 out, nobody on. Here's the pitch from Ort. High, 96 miles an hour, fouled off. 0-2 is the count. Yeah, I miss Hader too, but you know what? If the Astros can limp through this and make a win, it makes me feel better that they can buckle down and get it. You know what I'm saying? Here comes 0-2 pitch to Moore. Christian Moore swinging and a foul ball on the 98-mile-per-hour pitch. He might be Christian Moore, but let's have a little less. Let's have a little less. Ort. Here comes the toss. 98. Fouled off again. 0-2, the count remains. We're 3 Orts away. Yes, now we just need 2 more Orts. That's right. 1 Ort. 2 more Orts. No jam. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. 87 above the zone. 1-2 is the count. Pena is a monster. Yes, he is. Man, I don't want to look at those pictures, Jay. He'll make me transition. There we go. Strike 3. 1-2 pitch. 91 miles an hour on the cutter. He couldn't get the bat on it. Christian Moore becomes Christian Less on that pitch. We have 2 Orts. 1 Ort away. Well, then, Pena's already a star. He's already a superstar. He's just solidifying that. He'll solidify that when he gets his bag. It's coming. Woo! 85-mile-per-hour Swiffer right in there on Nico Cavadas. The official dad bod of the Angels. Ooh, another one. 2 Swiffers in a row right in there. 0-2. 1 more strike. One more Caleb, and we'll get the Ort. Here comes the pitch. The crowd is on their feet. 0-2. Fouls it off. 99 miles an hour on the outside edge. One more Caleb, and we'll have the third Ort. It's so silly. Ridiculous. Here comes the 0-2 pitch again. A redo. Woo, 98 above the zone. He's trying to buzz it past him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ortosaurus. Flash can turn a lot of guys gay. Yep, I think so. I think that's what you're saying, right? Here's a pitch. Woo, 98 just a little too far inside. Or it was like, oh man, almost got that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 20 pitches. Don't lose him, man. Are you guys with me? I say just put it down the middle as fast as you can and deal with it. Head of the strangers. That'll do, pig. That'll do. All right. How many likes do we have? Let me see what you guys and gals are able to do for me in this game. This was a good game. A good, difficult baseball game. I wouldn't say this is the type of game that I like to watch every day. But Javier was freaking amazing. The Astros managed to get the runs that we needed. We're 2 likes away from 100 likes on the live stream. Please hook that up if you have not done so already. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I invite you to do that right now if you're an Astros fan. I don't do any other teams. I just do Astros. So if you are interested in this series, or if you're interested in all of the Astros games, feel free to subscribe right now. But at the very least, give me a couple more likes. We've still got about 150 people watching and only 98 likes. Need to get that up. Up. I appreciate you in advance. We're going to take a quick look at the scoring summary. It's a very short summary. I almost said scummery. That's basically what it is today, because there's not much to look at. There's the scoring summary. It's just 2 scores. The 7th and the 8th inning. In the 7th, Correa singled to right field, scoring Alvarez 1-0. In the 8th, Alvarez hit a sacrifice fly. Cam Smith tagged up from third, scored 2-0. Those are the only runs I've got today. Left on base. I'm going to have to go to my MLB screen here to show this to you. Let me move it over. You can see right here. Click on Astros, and you see it right here. Look at this. 25 left on base for the Astros in this game. That is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. That was the problem with the Astros today. Getting runners on base, not a problem. We had enough hits. They had 9 hits. It's not a tremendous amount, but we had a lot of guys on base, a lot of traffic. We had some walks. Just couldn't convert. It's sad because Javier doesn't get the win today because we didn't have any runs on the board. De Los Santos gets the win, and Ort gets the save. Ort definitely deserved the save, but Javier deserved the win. Unfortunately, he doesn't get it. Whatever. If we look at the Astros' performance individually, we see that Pena went 2 for 5. Alvarez went 0 for 3, but he did have a sacrifice hit, very important, in the DH slot. And so he had 1 RBI. Altuve was 2 for 5, no RBIs. Correa 1 for 3 with an RBI. Walker 2 for 4, no RBIs. Sanchez 1 for 2. Diaz 0 for 4. Diaz was the most egregious batter in the lineup today. He had so many opportunities to drive in runners and did nothing positive. Cam Smith 0 for 2. But he was able to get a walk and then score later on a tag. from that hit by Jordan. And then Doobie 1 for 3 today. Pitching, let's take a quick look at that. Javier, 6 innings, no hits, no runs, 3 walks only, 6 strikeouts. Great performance by Javier, and the Astros managed to get just enough runs to win the game for him. De Los Santos struggled a little bit, went point. Well, it says he went 1 inning. Did he go the whole? I thought he got pulled. No, that was Kimbrel. I'm sorry, Kimbrel that got pulled. De Los Santos struggled and then shut it down. So he got 2 runners on and then shut it down. So he started off with some trouble and then just was locked on after that. So he gave up 2 hits and then shut it down. So he turned out to be all right. Kimbrel struggled and loaded up the bases. Thankfully, Ort came in. Believe it or not, Ort came in, got us out of the inning, and then shut down the 9th. Ort earned that save for sure. Absolutely. Very close game, but the Astros win. Tomorrow, what are we looking at? Let's take a look at the Astros schedule for tomorrow. Let's see who's on the mound for both teams. Arrighetti and Hendricks. Spencer Arrighetti's pitching tomorrow. He'll be facing Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks is 6-9 with a 5.04 ERA. 130 innings pitched, 135 hits, averaging a hit per inning with 87 strikeouts, 37 walks. Walks are a little high. Strikeouts aren't too high. 21 homers. 21, that's a little high. This looks like the kind of guy that we should be able to hit. Not a big strikeout guy. Lots of walks, a decent amount of homers. Maybe the Astros have a few home runs tomorrow. Maybe we put up 7 runs tomorrow. We'll see. Arrighetti, let's hope that he gets his act together and he shakes off all of that rust that he's had attached to him. He's pitched 29 innings so far this year. 29 hits. 23 strikeouts. 15 walks. 5 home runs. Tomorrow, like I said, it's a good opportunity, just like this series is, for the Astros pitchers to get some stuff worked out. Game number 3, Hunter Brown's on the mound, but we don't have a starting pitcher announced for game number 4. Originally, it was McCullers, but for those of you who don't know, Lance McCullers has been basically moved to a kind of a bridge reliever position. For those of you who've not heard that, originally McCullers was supposed to pitch in game number 4, but he has been scratched. Who is going to be on the mound for game number 4? We don't know that yet, but we'll see. We will see. Let's take a look at these scores around the league as they relate to the STROS. Wow, Curbs beating up on the Rockies. Okay, right now the Strangers are 7 games behind the Astros, but they are tied up with the A's in the 4th inning. If they lose, they'll drop another half game, so that's fine by me. Go A's. Let's see, what else is going on? Anything else of note? The Rays and the Nationals. Oh. Hey, look at that. The Brewers beat the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays drop a game. 7-2. Good job there, Brewers. I appreciate that. And the Pirates beat the Red Sox. Look at that. We're getting all sorts of favors today. And the Mariners, I believe they got walked off. If we take a look at the game cast, we'll see what happened. Yeah. That's right. In the 9th inning, you can see right here, in the bottom of the 9th, the Guardians were down 4-3, and they scored 2 runs. How did they get them? Okay, in the bottom of the 9th, Rocchio singled to left, scoring Jones on an error. Okay, so they tied it up with an error, and then Kwan came up and hit a sacrifice fly to center field, scoring Rocchio. So isn't that funny? The Mariners the Mariners give up the game on an error, or they give up the lead on an error, and then Quan hits a sacrifice fly to walk it off. Good job, Submariners, and thank you, Cleveland Guard Indians. We appreciate that. Anything left in the live chat to address before I'm out of here? Let's see. Yeah, we got too many lobsters. Thank you for reminding me of that also, J. Paul. I'm gonna post that later on. I think that's funny. That's just too funny. Extra fish and beach balls for the Ort. Kind of an ugly game on offense. You're right about that, Brendan. It was not pretty. They just barely got it done. But leaving 25 runners on, that's just completely unacceptable. Can't be doing that. Thank you, Daryl, for the like. Thank you, Casey Jones. Yes, we got over 100. Thank you so much, everybody, for the 100-plus likes. I appreciate that. And we got the shutout. That's right, Daryl. Look at the bright side. Pitching staff, there's a silver lining. Yes, the Astros got runners on and didn't score them. It's kind of a good problem to have when you have a ton of base runners and you don't score them. At least there's not... I mean, what if we're not getting any base runners at all? What if we're just not getting hits? We're not getting walks. We're not getting guys on base. We're not getting any traffic on base. That would be a much bigger problem, right, than getting a lot of guys on base and not scoring them. So at least we don't have major tweaking to do in order to drive those runners in, because at any time the floodgates can open and the Astros will wind up scoring like 7 to 12 runs in several games. That's why sometimes the Astros just seem to explode and score a bunch of runs, because they're actually driving in their base runners. So it's a good problem to have. But the silver lining, you could even say the gold lining to this game, was the pitching. I mean, think about that. Kimbrel kind of got shaky and loaded the bases, but he still got 2 outs, and then Ort was able to come in and shut it down. On top of that, Javier had 6 innings of no-hit ball. And we had a wonderful 9th inning from Ort. I mean, when you look at the pitching performance today, you have to be very, very happy about that. You must be very happy. We didn't see Abreu. We didn't see Hader. We didn't see Fromber or Hunter Brown. We didn't even see the latest version of Jason Alexander. We saw a Christian Javier coming back from after having a few starts from his rehab assignment, throw 6 innings of no-hit ball, and then we saw our relievers keep the score at 0. You can't be upset about that. You got to be really happy about that. You're right, Casey. And sometimes it will be. It will be 10-0 sometimes with 25 guys on base with the batter up. Sometimes it will happen. It absolutely will happen. Glenn says, as long as we finish with 1 more than they do. That's right. The main thing in baseball is to get the win. It's just like football, right? Unless you're talking about college football, that's different because style matters and who you're playing. But in Major League Baseball, it's the same as NFL football. Whoever gets the W and gets the W's at the right time, that's what matters most. You got to get enough W's to get into the playoffs, and then you have to start getting the W's to continue. It's that simple. It's that simple. And in basketball is the same. It doesn't matter how you win. Style doesn't matter as long as you're able to win. Yes, his ERA has gone down. You said Jay said it should have a 4.2. I do wonder what his ERA is. Let's see if we can take a quick look at it. I think it's even lower than that. But we'll see. You might be right. I can't remember. But we'll take a look. Javier. 3.38. Look at that. Christian Javier's ERA right now is 3.38. Oh, no. Wait a second. That was for the game. No. My bad. Okay, 5.4 is what it says over here. If you you can't see it. Let me move it over. Okay, over here it says for the season 5.4. 5.4. Ah, freaking Windows. Stop moving my screens around. I hate the snapping, the automatic snapping on Windows. It drives me up the wall. Okay, look at this. Last 7 days, his ERA is 13.5. But versus the Angels, he's locked down. In August, 10 innings pitched. 8 runs, but none today. None today. Where does that 3 number come from? 3.38 it says right here. I guess that's just going to be from this game. But anyway, doesn't really matter. It came down a lot. That's the most important thing. Thank you, Glenn, so much for complimenting me in the live stream. I appreciate you very much. Garcia starting in... It could be, Eric. You're right. It could be. Luis Garcia, he could be starting in McCullers' spot. There's talk about that. And you're welcome, Fox at Bat. Thank you so much for being here and supporting the channel. Anything else? Yep, same bat time, same bat channel. See you tomorrow, Ken. Is Hader back? No, Glenn. Hader's not anywhere near being back. If he comes back at all, it'll be in the playoffs. They did say that there's a lot of talk about Paredes being able to come back by the playoffs. Paredes himself seems to think that he's improving really well. So that's good news. Let's just hope that he doesn't come back too soon, you know what I'm saying? Yep, Jordan will definitely dominate. He's already looking good, and he's already having an effect. We've already got the Jordan effect going on, right? Earlier, he got walked, got on, and scored. See? Because they want to pitch to him. They don't want to do it. Yep, he's got a home run. He's been walked a lot. He's already back to typical Jordan. Let's see here. Yep. And we got Correa. Everybody gets hot. I mean, think about it. The Astros have so many guys. We have one of the best batting averages in all of MLB. We're in the top 5, okay? So it's not that we don't get hits, and it's not that we don't create opportunities, because we get a lot of hits and we create a tremendous amount of opportunities. For some reason, it's just most of the time we're not capitalizing on those opportunities. So is there some sort of mental block that's causing the Astros to do that, where they get guys on base and they just don't move them around? I don't know. But like we said earlier, all it takes is just for a few little things to change, a few little tweaks, and the Astros can have 10 runs on the board in a game. Super easy. Super easy. Daryl says, make sure you get your rest today. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And you know what? I slept my butt off. I'm not going to lie. I slept my butt off last night. I went to bed so early. It wasn't even 9 o'clock. I went to bed so early. And today it's going to be really hot. It's going to be much hotter this afternoon. I hate it. But I've determined that I'm not going to spend any time doing work outside or around the house in this weather. It's really drugged me down and hurt me. So on these really, really hot days, on these heat wave days, I've been taking my time, whatever I do, and I've just been grabbing my laptop and going to a cafe and sitting there basically all day long. I really don't like doing that, but I do have a novel to write, and I have this channel to focus on. And those two things are very important. So I can grab my laptop and go sit in the air conditioner and take care of myself. But when it comes to being here at home, I have so many things to do to renovate my house and fix the foundation. And you have no idea, okay? Whatever I don't know what your situation is, and if you own your house, and maybe you think, yeah, me too, I've got a lot of stuff to do. No, 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 you have absolutely no idea. You have no idea what I have to do here. I guarantee there's not a single person in this chat that has as many things to do to clean and repair their property as I do here at my house. And if you don't believe me, you can check out my my other YouTube channel. I've shared it before for those of you who haven't seen it. But my handle is really simple. It's called Akia Japan. If you look up Akia Japan on YouTube, that's my Japan channel that's kind of about my house and my life here in Japan. And I'm telling you, go back and look at my old videos and you can see my property. Look around my property. Look at my house. Look at the things that I have to do here. But it's so hot right now that I'm literally just I'm feeling sick and nauseous and having pains in my head. I've got a very high risk. I'm at high risk for blood clots. I've already had one clot in my leg, and I spent 2 months in the hospital, and it happened during this same time of year, right at the end of summer. It's starting to get into fall. This time of year, it's very dangerous for me. So going inside and relaxing and getting into the AC. I mean, I'm sitting here right now. I've got a fan going over here, and I'm sweating. So I'm going to go take a break. I'm going to go make that lobster. That lobster. Thank you, J. Paul. I'm going to make the lobster meme and post that later on for you guys to see. We're up to 20, how many members? Are we still at 28? Or did we get another one? Still at just 28 members. Need 2 more and we can get the Air Jordan emoji. So I hope you guys and gals, 2 more of you can join. I'd appreciate that. And I will take a break, Shake. Thank you so much. Make sure you take care of yourself too. Yeah, Correa has had a couple of short cold streaks, but overall he's been hot. I agree. He absolutely has been wonderful. Yeah, and we hit the win streak. The Mariners keep losing. That's right. The Astros about to start taking off. The rocket boosters have charged up, and we are leaving the launch pad. Gravity has no claim on me. That's all for today. Thank you, guys and girls. I love you very much. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the donations, the memberships, the likes, the subscriptions, all of that. I appreciate you. And I will see you for Game 2 tomorrow versus the Broken and Fallen Angels. Yep, blast off. 3, 2, 1. Go STROS. And see you tomorrows. That's all for now. Bye-bye.